Chapter 39:14. Fourth more. A majestic and magnificent law formation covered a vast void. The magic array arranged by the Lord of Flint and Mars is indeed extremely powerful. Even if the Dragon Lord is caught in this magic array, it may take some hands and feet to come out. With such a powerful legal array, the movement is not small. Jane's star demon ancestors were attracted to this place by sensing the existence of the power of this magic circle. Soon, the ancestor of the star devil appeared in the void around the circle, and he stepped down from the carriage and immediately stepped forward to walk directly inside the circle. Okay. The Lord of the Stone Mars, who laid the law formation, sensed the existence of the ancestor of the star devil for the first time. Is the ancestral ancestor finally here, and the breath is so unique? If I had not fully integrated into the circle at this moment, I am afraid that even if he broke into my circle, I may not be able to know the means of this ancestor. Sure enough, it is extraordinary. The Lord of Mars secretly surprised. Now that the ancestor of the Xingma has arrived, and the means are so good, he does not dare to show his sword to Wushuang Shuang as soon as possible, in case the ancestor of the Xingma just slips away. You must know that the Lord of the Dragons can say that the ancestors of the star demon are endless. No one knows how many means he has so far. Although Jian Wushuang has a disciple's token of the red cloud, he can mobilize some of the power of the eternal dark prison. If this ancestor of the star devil was vigilant in advance and used his means to escape in an instant, Jian Wushuang would not be absolutely sure that he could suppress it. The ancestor of the star has already appeared in the circle, and immediately noticed the stone Martian master and sword Wushuang in the circle. This magic circle is quite unique. It should be the stone Martian master who casts the magic circle? The star ancestor's ancestor looked at one direction of the circle, and he could sense that the Lord of Mars was at the end of that direction. It was able to be integrated with this law formation and sensed my existence. The accomplishment of this stone Martian master is really not weak. If you have the opportunity, you can take him back to my castle and study with him. Array method. The ancestral ancestor smiled, and then he looked at the sword in the center of the array, sitting there with a sword unparalleled. He is the Lord of the Blood Sword? The star ancestor carefully looked at Jian Wushuang, as if he wanted to see the whole person completely. What is strange is that he has such a large number of swords unparalleled, and the latter has no gap at all, which shows how clever the ancestor of the star devil is to hide his body and breath. The Lord of the Rules realized a trace of the law of the universe. This little guy is really good. The ancestor of the star devil smiled, and then an invisible force swept out. Jian Wushuang still didn't notice the slightest. He is now devoting himself to the research and improvement of his two sword arrays. Even if the invisible force appeared around him, he did not respond, and even when the invisible force directly entered his body, he had not found it until the force broke into his sea of knowledge. Not good. The sword's two-sided color changed suddenly, and his eyes opened sharply. He was immediately alert, trying to stop the erosion of that invisible force, but it was clearly over. When that power has poured into his sea of knowledge, it is useless to resist him again. Only in an instant this power poured into the soul in the sea of knowledge, and suddenly found his soul origin, leaving a special mark in his soul origin. This mark is different from the kind of imprint left by Jian Wushuang in the Dragon Lord's soul. The imprint of the sword Wushuang in the source of the souls of the Dragon Lords is just a means of control. He can at any time trigger the imprint and directly destroy the source of the souls of the Dragon Lords, which is equivalent to killing them. The imprint of the star demon ancestor at the origin of Jian Wushuang's soul is to completely control Jian Wushuang. He is equivalent to soul slavery. Silently, this soul slavery has been completed. It's done. The star demon ancestor smiled slightly, and his figure just slowly emerged from the display of the magic circle. You are the ancestor of Xingma. Jian Wushuang looked dumb, and looked at the white-haired handsome man who appeared in front of him. It's me. Star demon ancestor nodded slightly. Strange, you should have been enslaved by my soul. When you see me, you should kneel down and call me the master. Why do you have your own consciousness and thinking? Soul slavery? Hee hee. Jian Wushuang just smiled coldly, and immediately followed his soul who knew the place to the sea, and immediately burned frantically at a horrible speed. Burning the soul? The star ancestor's face changed. Under the enslavement of my soul, you can still burn the soul, and so decisively? Generally, if you choose to burn your soul, you will die directly. Anyone, even if forced into desperation, has no way to cast his soul to burn. He has to hesitate for a moment, but the Lord of the Blood Sword in front of him has no hesitation, knowing that his soul has been enslaved, immediately cast the soul burning, very decisive. Suddenly, once the soul burned, there was no way to stop. It's a pity he originally wanted to know how to leave this eternal dark prison from his mouth, but now. Star Demon Ancestor frowned. He watched Jian Wushuang's soul burn and dissipate, but in the next moment Jian Wushuang's soul power recovered at an amazing speed. But the difference is that his restored soul was not enslaved. Star Demon Ancestor, you are really a good means, silently enslaved my soul. Sword without double-sided content cold, staring at the Star Demon Ancestor in front of him. He did care. I feel that I have a very good sense of consciousness and life-saving ability, and there is a disciple of Hangyun's disciples in hand, so she can completely fearlessly and complete her 2 swords. In the end, he did not notice the arrival of the ancestor of the Star Devil, and did not expect that the means of the ancestor of the Star Devil was so good that he silently enslaved his soul. If he is not a practitioner of perfect life level, the soul origin has already been integrated into every part of the divine power in the body, and if he is already invincible in the soul at that moment, he has been enslaved by the ancestor of the Star Devil and become his slave. Even if there is a disciple of Hangyun's disciples, he can't bring out the power of the eternal dark prison's magic array in time. Souls are burned out, but they recovered in an instant. Are you a perfect practitioner of life? The ancestor of Star Devil looked at this sword unparalleled. Although he got some information about Jian Wushuang, but Jian Wushuang is the perfect life practitioner, he didn't know it. Chapter 39:15. 5 more arrived today. I have long heard that the ancestor of the Star Devil is the most mysterious and most powerful of the 10 kings of Eternal Dark Prison. Today, he finally learned, and he enslaved the soul of the other party quietly. It really is a good method. Sword Wushuang stared at the Star Demon Ancestor in front of him. His eyes were cold. I did not expect that in addition to understanding a little of the universe's laws, you are still a practitioner of perfect life level. If such a super genius is placed in the deepest part of the universe, I am afraid that countless super forces will break their heads. The ancestor of the Star Devil smiled, and then said, Lord of the Blood Sword, believe me, even if you are a perfect practitioner of life, its means of life-saving is not weak. Even the magic dragon can't help you, but trust me. I have thousands of ways to kill you, so why don't you think about it and become my slave? Star Demon Ancestor, I'm afraid this time, you're going to miscalculate. Jian Wushuang smiled chillily, and already took out the disciple of the Red Cloud Vein. As soon as the sign appeared, the ancestor's face changed immediately. Jian Wushuang did not hesitate, and directly mobilized the eternal power of the Eternal Dark Prison to suppress the Star Demon Ancestors. Boom rumbling. The earth trembled, and I saw that the supreme power directly oppressed the ancestor of Star Demon. The distance is too close. The ancestors of Star Devil have thousands of means to escape from this pressure. I saw a snorting moan from the Star Demon Ancestor. His figure fell to the ground. His complexion became difficult to look. However, it is worth mentioning that despite the Xeon Power Ancestor's repression, his body is still standing, unlike the previous ancestors of the Demon Dragon and other masters, who were directly oppressed lying on the oppression. On the ground, I can't move at all. The ancestor of Star Demon is not only standing, but also barely able to move, but his means of strength must not be able to exert much. Can you stand? Jian Wushuang could not help but mistakenly. He is also one of the 10 kings. The Lord of the Dragons had to lie down under that mighty suppression. The ancestor of the Star Devil could stand? With this alone, Jian Wushuang understands that the strength of the Star Demon Ancestor is much stronger than that of the Dragon Lord. Of course, this also has a lot to do with Jian Wushuang himself. Although I can rely on the disciples of Hong Yun's disciples to mobilize the power of this eternal dark prison, but because I am only the ruler, the power that I can mobilize is very limited. I am afraid it is only a small part. The most important thing is what S. More, the Eternal Dark Prison's legal array was severely damaged during the war that was red and clouded, and the foundation of the legal array was damaged. The Eternal Dark Prison's power has naturally weakened a lot. If the foundation of this Eternal Dark Prison is not damaged, even if I am the master of the rules, I can suppress everything in this first layer, but now, although I can suppress the ancestor of the Star Devil, but I can't as thoroughly as when suppressing the Demon Lord, at least the ancestor of the demon can still stand. Jian Wushuang muttered. Of course, it has been suppressed anyway. Whether the Star Demon Ancestor is standing or lying down, Jian Wushuang does not care. Star Demon Patriarch, do you think I need to think about it now? Jian Wu's eyes were cold, standing in front of Star Demon Patriarch. But the thing that made Jian Shuangzi surprised, the expression on the face of the Star Demon Ancestor changed only when he took out the red cloud pulse, and now the expression of the Star Devil Ancestor has calmed down again. When Jian Wushuang opened his mouth to ask, the ancestor of Star Devil also showed a faint smile. The Lord of the Blood Sword, I know that you must have passed some special ways before you entered the Eternal Dark Prison, and there must be a way to leave this Eternal Dark Prison in your hands. Now it seems that it is true, but I didn't expect you to enter the Eternal Dark Prison through the Red Cloud Command. The ancestor of the Star Devil smiled, without any worries about his current situation. He was completely different from the ancestors of the Demon Dragon and Hongyi when they were suppressed. The pulse of Hong Yun has long since been destroyed. This is undoubted. The strong people of Hong Yun should have died as a matter of course, and the sign or token in their hands, even if later generations get it, there is no way to recognize the Lord, and naturally it is useless. Because of this, I didn't think of you in the vein of Hong Yun, but now it seems that although the vein of Hong Yun has been destroyed, there is a legacy. You should be lucky and have the heritage of Hong Yun. Only then became a person with a vein of Hong Yun, with this disciple's symbol of the red cloud. Star Demon Ancestor said, You're right, I did encounter the inheritance of Hong Yun Imai by chance and coincidence, only to become a new disciple of Hong Yun Imai, and also entered this eternal dark prison by virtue of this token. Jian Wushuang also admitted directly, followed by he asked, Star Demon Patriarch, you are now in such a field, and you are not in a hurry? Anxiety is useless, not to mention that although I was suppressed by you, the suppression was not thorough enough. Even though I could not escape, I could not use most of the means, but some of the most basic means could still be used. Only the ruler, you might as well try to see if you can kill me. Star Demon Ancestor smiled. The sword has no double-sided color. It is true that his repression against the Star Devil Ancestors could not be completely thorough. But even if you can barely use a little trick or some simple body protection methods, I am afraid it will not be too weak. You'll try it then. Wu Jian's eyes narrowed for a moment. Wu Wei's divine sword was in his hand, and the divine power was triggered. The dim shadow of the sword looted directly, and it was arrogantly the sword's strongest sword skill. The ancestral ancestor who was suppressed by the eternal dark prison array has no room to hide at all, and he has no intention to hide. He just moved his finger slightly, and a huge black vortex appeared instantly. Now, it was like a big mouth madly devouring everything around. The hazy swordsmanship performed by Wu Jian Wushuang, the large haze of mist swept over this black vortex, and was immediately swallowed clean by this black vortex. This is like a drop of water falling into the sea, without any waves. The sword is unparalleled. He could see that the sudden appearance of the black vortex should not have been performed by the ancestors of the Star Devil himself, but was led by the ancestors of the Star Devil in a special way. In other words, this black vortex should come from his special treasure. Chapter 39:16. The first is more. When he was in the Red Cloud realm, the Lord Wu said that in the eternal dark prison, Relying on the disciples of Hong Yun's disciples, he could easily suppress many masters on the 1st to 5th floors. Now, he did suppress the Star Ancestor, but this Star Ancestor is obviously very different from other masters. In this case, he can also guide the Black Vortex out. This Black Vortex is also very unique. It should be a very special force. It can't even suppress the power of the Eternal Dark Prison. Jian Wushuang frowned. Under normal circumstances, he mobilizes part of the power of the Eternal Dark Prison to suppress everything. Not only suppressing the ancestors of the Star Devil, including any means or power exerted by the ancestors of the Star Devil, you can directly suppress them. At the moment when the Black Vortex was guided by the ancestor of the demon, Jian Wushuang also immediately mobilized the Phelan dynasty to suppress the Black Vortex, but immediately he found that the power of the Black Vortex was special or strange, even it is completely unaffected by the power of the array. Star Demon Ancestor, I really despise you, did not expect that you have mastered this extremely special power? Jian Wushuang stared at the Star Demon Ancestor in front of him. Ha, Lord of the Sword of Blood, although you have been inherited from the vein of Red Cloud, he is afraid of many things in the vein of Red Cloud. You know why the vein of Red Cloud originally held me in this eternal dark prison. Star Devil Ancestor smiled. Don't it be because you committed sins outside? Jian Wushuang's voice was low. Of course not. The reason why Hong Yunyi detained me was because I had this special power in my hand. Although I only had a preliminary grasp at the beginning, it was still enough to make Hong Yunyi's eyes blind. They held me in eternal dark prison. From time to time, people are sent to come in contact with me, trying to figure out how to get this power. Unfortunately, I swear that I will never die, and I have even left a ban in my own Linghu. Even if the person in the Red Cloud has shot it in person, as long as he dares to involve my soul, the ban will trigger and I will die directly. They don't get what they want to. Star Demon Ancestor smiled. Hearing these words, Jian Wushuang's heart shook inwardly. He doesn't know the true or false words of the Star Demon Ancestor. If it is false, it is okay, but if it is true, the special power in the hands of the ancestors of Star Devil made Hong Yun's veins incomprehensible? That particular power is a bit scary. I rely on my own means to entangle the long years with Hong Yun's veins, and in the end until Hong Yun's veins are completely destroyed, there is nothing I can do. As for you, you can suppress me with the Red Cloud's tokens in your hands, but it wouldn't be so easy to kill me completely. Star Devil Ancestor laughed. Jian Wushuang looked at the Star Ancestor in front of him, but his eyes were extremely cold. Stone Fire. Sword Wushuang opened. Master. The figure of the Lord of Mars immediately appeared next to Jian Wushuang. Go and call them the dragon. Jian Wushuang commanded. Yes. The Lord of Mars nodded, and immediately set off toward the location of the Lord Dragon Lord and others. Before long, the Dragon Lord and others came to Jian Wushuang. When they saw the suppressed ancestors and the huge black vortex in front of them, they looked very strange. Master. The Lord of Dragons respects Xiang Jianwusho. Wu Jianso nodded slightly. Oh, Demon Dragon, I didn't expect you to be conquered by the Lord of the Blood Sword long ago. You also deliberately arranged the magic circle and pretended to be a way to deal with him. It seems to be calculated for me. The Star Demon Ancestor smiled and looked at the Demon Ancestor. The Demon Dragon Lord hummed and said nothing. Devil Dragon, this Star Demon Ancestor is indeed very weird. Although I suppressed him, he has a very special power in his hands. This power can shelter him. I just shot with all my strength, but I couldn't kill him. Fuck him, your strength is a lot stronger than mine. You go all out to see if you can kill him. Jian Wushuangdo. Yes. The Dragon Lord Jing Jianjian headed, and he also saw the extraordinary black vortex in front of the Star Ancestor. Immediately, the dark golden long stick appeared in the hands of the Dragon Lord, and the Dragon Lord's divine power burst into madness. In a short time, the dark gold stick turned into a dark golden thunder, which slashed down instantly. The surrounding space was smashed with a loud roar. At this moment, the Lord of the Dragons completely burst out of his powerful strength as one of the 10 kings. However, this stick hit the black vortex directly, but the black vortex was only a little tremor, and it recovered after a moment. Normal. The hit of the demon dragon lord still failed to have much effect on the black vortex. This. The Lord Dragon frowned. Lord of the Blood Sword, I said, although you can suppress me, but you can't kill me. Star demon ancestors are still fearless. Is that it? Jian Wushuang's mouth was awkward. Star demon ancestor, although I don't know how you have this special power, and I don't know why this special power can even connect with the eternal dark prison's circle. Willpower can't suppress it, but the power you have should not be endless? Perhaps the attacks I waited on once or twice would not have much impact on this black vortex, but what if there were dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of attacks? Now my side alone is the darkest. There are 6 combat-level combat powers, and the Dragon Lord is here. I can completely and relentlessly attack you again and again against this black vortex. I don't believe it. Your black vortex can be maintained forever. Affected. Wu Jian's voice was cold. When he heard him, the eyes of the Dragon Lord and others were all bright. And the Star Demon Ancestor's eyes narrowed slightly. He took a deep look at Jian Wushuang and then laughed again. Ha! You're right, I can rely on this special force for 2 or 1 attack withstand it. But if there are hundreds or thousands of attacks, it will not be able to withstand it. So it seems that I am destined to die here today. Since you are destined to die, then you will not do it yourself. The Star Ancestor is still laughing, but suddenly a breath of impatientness emerged from him, and the power of the soul he knew in the sea began to burn wildly at an amazing speed. Wu Jianwushuang, Lord of the Dragons, and others were taken aback. It was so decisive to burn the soul and die? Jian Wushuang was extremely shocked inside. This is too decisive. It seems that you don't care about your life at all. The Dragon Lord and others were also confused. Chapter 39:17. Second more. You know, the Dragon Lords were all suppressed before. Although they were suppressed, they were not completely desperate in the process of suppression, because they understood that Jian Wushuang might suppress them, but they might not kill them. Sure enough, sword unparalleled conditions, they chose to surrender. But now, the Star Ancestor did not even ask a question. Knowing that he was suppressed, and Jian Wushuang has the ability to kill him, he directly burned the soul to choose the dead end, and did not give the sword Wushuang a condition at all opportunity. Of course, Jian Wushuang had already promised the ancient Night Devil, so he must kill the ancestor of the Star Devil, but before killing the ancestor of the Star Devil, he still wanted to get something from the ancestor of the Star Demon. However, the ancestor of Star Devil had no chance at all, and directly and decisively chose to burn the soul. And one more thing, it is even more strange. When the ancestor of the Star Devil burned the soul, he was not only decisive, but also very calm. He did not show the slightest resentment in his expression or words. He even burned the soul with a smile. You know, before Jian Wushuang suppressed a strong person when they conquered them, although some strong ones would rather die than indulge and choose to burn their souls to commit suicide, they burned their souls as a last resort. In the eyes of the ancestors, how can they be unwilling and resentful? Master of the Blood Sword. The old Star Ancestor once again spoke. His soul has burned more than half. This intense burning pain of the soul, he bears it, but his appearance has not changed at all. You are very good. I believe that it won't be long before we meet again. Star Demon Ancestor smiled. What? The swordless double-sided colors suddenly changed. It won't be long before we meet again? The ancestors of Star Demon now burn their souls and die. How can they meet again? Is this Star Demon Ancestor just a clone? Jian Wushuang frowned and looked at the Star Demon old man in front of him, but the soul of the latter became weaker and weaker, and finally completely dissipated. The Star Progenitor's ancestor body also lost its vitality, landed on the ground, and was completely dead. Looking at the corpse left by the ancestor of Star Demon, Jian Wushuang was quite heavy inside. He can see that the Star Demon ancestor in front of him is indeed dead, the soul is completely burned and exhausted, the body has completely lost its vitality, and the Star Demon ancestor does not seem to be a clone. After all, although there are some unique avatars in the vast universe, this avatar is integrated with the soul of the deity. If the soul burns and perishes, no matter the deity will die. Underneath, the soul burned clean, and it didn't look like it could survive. But the sentence left by the ancestor of the Xingma, and the calmness of calm, made him have to doubt whether the ancestor of the Xingmo really died. Wu Jian Wushuang was pondering. The lords of the dragons and the masters of the emperor, who were next to him, looked at the body of the ancestor of the star devil and secretly booed. The star ancestor, the most mysterious and most terrifying king in the first space of the eternal dark prison, but now he died in front of them. Everyone is concerned about the death of the star demon ancestor. However, in the surrounding void, the luxurious carriage that the star devil ancestor traveled all the way was suspended there. The white horse with dorsal wings that drove the carriage, and a large number of them caught by the ancestors in the back of the carriage, have become livestock or animal practitioners. When the ancestors of Star Demon live, these practitioners are all livestock animals. Now when the ancestors of the Star Devil die, the restraint that has been tied to them disappears immediately. Time. Boom! A trembling roar, that luxurious carriage burst directly, followed. Countless figures appeared in this world at the same time. Ha! Recovered, we recovered. Dead, the ancestral ancestor was killed. I thought I would be caught back by the star demon ancestors for a long time, but I didn't expect that in a blink of an eye, the star demon ancestors died. It is the lord of the blood sword, the ancestor of the star demon he killed, and he is a person in the vein of Hong Yun. A vein of red clouds. Forbidden contact, these practitioners immediately restored their original appearance. At the same time, they had been in the surrounding void. Although they were turned into livestock in the back box, they knew what happened outside. They saw the sword, unparalleled movement. The power of the eternal dark prison's magic array suppressed the ancestors of the Star Devil, forcing the ancestors of the Star Devil to burn themselves and commit suicide. After they recovered, all eyes immediately looked at Jian Wushuang. Not good. The looks of Wu Shou Wushuang and the Lord of the Dragons all changed instantly. They only paid attention to the death of the Star Demon ancestors, but did not notice the many practitioners caught by the Star Demon ancestors. Hurry up, suppress them. Jian Wu's eyes were cold, and he immediately did his best to mobilize the power of the eternal dark prison's magic array, and directly suppress them towards these practitioners. The Lord of the Dragons, the Lord of the Martians, the Lord of the Emperor's Bazaar, etc. also shot at this moment. They want to suppress or kill all these practitioners. However, the number of these practitioners is too much. The Star Demon ancestors came all the way before, but they crossed a large area and met a large number of practitioners on the way. Most of these practitioners were caught by him in the trunk of the carriage. On the way, the Star Demon ancestors, there are nearly 10,000 practitioners captured. Nearly 10,000 practitioners had originally become livestock and animals staying in the back box. Now because of the death of the ancestor of the Star Demon, all their original appearance and strength have been restored at this instant. The dense tens of thousands are at the second level. The highest number of practitioners stood in the void. Although Jian Wushuang reacted for the first time, he wanted to suppress it. But those practitioners did not react too slowly. When they saw the action of the sword unparalleled, they immediately stirred up. Run away, the main blood sword suppresses us. Hurry up and escape. Scattered and flee, we have a lot of people, he can't suppress it. At this moment, tens of thousands of practitioners fled at the same time and fled in all directions. As they expected, although Jian Wushuang can mobilize some of the power of the eternal dark prison, it can easily suppress one master, but it is impossible to suppress the 10,000 practitioners at the same time, not to mention the recent 10,000 practitioners are not in front of him, but a certain distance from him. Under the suppression of Jian Jianshuang, he only suppressed a small part, but hundreds of people, most of them have escaped the sight of Jian Wushuang. Chapter 39:18. Third more. Trouble. I watched that most practitioners escaped from under their eyelids, and the double-sided sword was slightly ugly. Although these practitioners have no resentment against him, there is no need to kill them all. However, These practitioners have just seen him mobilize the eternal dark prison array power to suppress the ancestors of the star demon, and they all know that he is a man of red clouds. Now that they have escaped, and there are so many people, it won't be long before his identity will be known in the eternal dark prison. You know, he used to be cautious and didn't use the power of the array easily, but he didn't want to expose his identity, but now his identity is completely exposed. Then he will act in the eternal dark prison in the future, but it is far from the previous one. So convenient. No one knew my identity before, and naturally no one would have any fear of me, even because of the precious sword in my hand, but it would attract a strong person to take the initiative to come to the door, like the Dragon Lord and Star Demon. My ancestors came to me like this. But after the identity is revealed, it is impossible to want other strong men to take the initiative to come to the door. Not only that, if the strong man in eternal dark prison sees me in the future, I am afraid that the first thought is escape, absolutely dare not appear in front of me and fight with me. And the other 8 kings. Wu Jianshou frowned. The 10 kings in the first floor of eternal dark prison, now the Lord of the Dragons has surrendered to him, and the ancestor of the star demon has died, but there are still 8 kings. The strength of the 8 kings is also very arrogant. Even the weakest are not inferior to the Dragon Lord, and several of them have the rule of treasure. Like the Scorpion Lord, he has 5 rules of the treasure, and 2 of them Zhentian Bei, a sword that is of great use. Of course, Jian Wushuang had ideas for the remaining 8 kings. Originally, according to his own plan, after dealing with the star demon ancestors, he asked the Lord of the Dragons to take him one by one to find the 8 kings, and then used the means to bring them. The 8 kings were all repressed, and it would be best if the 8 kings were subject to him. But now that his identity is revealed, the 8 kings know that he is a man of red clouds, and how can he give him another chance to suppress it? If the 8 kings are not stupid, as soon as they get the news, they will definitely find a place to hide immediately. After hiding for hundreds of millions of years. When he left, the 8 kings appeared again. In other words, with the encounter just now, he wants to continue to be a pig and a tiger, and go and conquer the 8 kings one by one. It is no longer realistic, even more than the 8 kings. The top powerhouses, such as those who are at the level of the strongest in the dark, are expected to choose to hide. Magic Dragon. Jian Wushuang shouted coldly. Master. Lord Dragon came forward respectfully. How far is the territory of the Scorpion Lord you said before from the Dragon Domain? Jian Wushuang asked. Not far away, next to my Devil Dragon realm. If the owner starts now, he should be able to arrive within 500 years. Demon Lord said. 500 years? Jian Wushuang frowned. Why is it so long? The star demon ancestor was not in the demon dragon domain before, but after knowing my news, he immediately rushed over, but it was useless. Time, the ancestor of the star devil, is against the sky. He has created an extremely special black bird that is extremely fast and can cross the entire first level of the eternal dark prison in a short time. He also was on his carriage. The same method was used, so his carriage was extremely fast. It didn't take too long to travel from one large area to another, but we didn't have that ability. The ancestor of the dragon said, on the first floor of the eternal dark prison, there is a great distance between one large domain and another. If it is at our normal speed, it will take 500 years to reach the monster scorpion from the dragon realm. For a long time, but the owner, please rest assured that the transmission of this eternal dark prison message is very troublesome. Although the lords of various large domains have some special means of collecting information, in just 500 years, this information may not be able to be transmitted to other lords. In your ears. Second, I just said 500 years ago, but under normal circumstances, but I know that there is a special treasure in the hand of the Lord of Mars. If I use this special treasure for hurrying, I am afraid that time can be saved 10 times, that is to say 10 years should be enough. Oh! Jian Wushuang could not help looking at the Lord of Mars. The Lord of Flint and Mars smiled and said, back to the master, I do have a cosmic boat in my hand. If it is used to hurry, it can save a lot of time. Spaceship. Jian Wushuang looked. The cosmic boat is a flying treasure that can travel through the dark and empty universe. After all, the vast universe is endless, and 99% are dark and empty. If the practitioners in the universe wander in the vast universe naturally, it is necessary to wear in the dark and empty space of the universe all the year round, and this shuttle is too slow depending on the flying speed of the practitioners themselves. The Lord of the Martian smiled, and the cosmic boat, in the darkness of the universe, can burst into a terrible speed, much faster than the practitioner's speed. Naturally, the time spent on the road can be greatly reduced, but the value of the boat in the universe is also high. Even the lowest cosmic boat, the third-order dominated family can't afford it. I'm also lucky. In this eternal dark prison, I killed one. The strong man got such a cosmic boat from him. Although what I got was only the lowest cosmic boat, and that cosmic boat had been greatly broken. Many of the magic circles above were broken. It was completely useless, but what I was good at was the formation method. These years, I spent a lot of energy and methods to restore the formation on the cosmic boat a lot, and even considering the environment of the eternal dark prison, I specially added some other special formations to make it better. Traversing through the eternal dark prison, now, this cosmic boat may not be able to travel normally in the darkness of the universe, but in this eternal dark prison, it can definitely travel normally, and of course it is also fast. Obviously very confident in that spacecraft. That's good. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up long ago. Now my identity is exposed. If the remaining 8 kings knew my identity, 80% would be scared to hide directly, and the other 7 kings would be fine, but the Lord of Scorpions. I must have the rule of treasure in his hands. Chapter 39:19. Fourth more. Magic Dragon, Stone Fire, you two set off immediately with me. The Lord of the Scorpion has not yet received the news, and rushed to the Scorpion realm to suppress him. Jian Wushuangdo. Yes. Both the Lord Dragon and the Martian Lord nodded immediately. Emperor Break, you and Hongyi will go to the 9th dark area to meet with Qiansha and others, and then wait for me there. Jian Wushuang commanded again. Master, what about these people around? Suddenly asked the Emperor. Qi Jian Wushuang looked around. Nearly 10,000 practitioners have appeared at the same time. Although most of them have been escaped, there are still hundreds of people who failed to escape in time. They were suppressed by the sword, unparalleled swords, or captured by the Dragon Lord and others. These people. Jian Wu's eyes were cold. He could see at a glance that these people were relatively ordinary. Many of them were only dominated by the 2nd level. Of course, there were also many 3rd levels dominated. District's strongest, but none of them. The Lord of the Blood Sword, I am willing to surrender, willing to pay all the treasures. Just ask you to wait for my life. Lord of the Blood Sword, forgive me. Most of these repressed practitioners are begging for mercy, but some are silent. I don't need waste around me, these people all killed. The sword has no double-sided indifference. Yes. The Lord Dragon Lord several hands immediately started. Do not. Lord of the Blood Sword, you must not die. Blood Sword, sooner or later you will die. You will. In a stern roar, these hundreds were at least the masters of the 2nd level peak, and they were all killed. As for the treasures and Shenkuan ring left by them, they all fell into the hands of Jian Wushuang. These people, to me, the only use of the world in the beginning is these treasures they left. Jian Wu's eyes were cold and without mercy. His soul level is low, and it is impossible to leave a mark in the soul origin of too many people. So those who are eligible to become his slaves must be elites, at least the level of the strongest in the dark, and these people won nowhere. And most of these people were detained for committing heinous sins. Of course, Jian Wushuang will not be merciful, kill them directly, and deprive them of their grasp. These masters who can survive such a long time in the eternal dark prison are all worthy, each has a lot of strongest treasures, killing hundreds of people in one breath, and the sword has won a large number of strongest treasures in an instant. After returning to the early divine realm, these strongest treasures can also be used by the powerfuls of the early divine realm. After the slaughter of these practitioners, Jian Wushuang soon set off with the Dragon Lord and Stone Martian Lord. I saw a huge black wooden boat galloping fast in the void. This galloping speed was far more than dozens of times faster than the fastest speed of the third series. Such a terrible speed ran rampant. Resistance. Originally, it took about 500 years to rush from the Magic Dragon realm to the Magic Scorpion realm, but it took only 38 years to ride this cosmic boat. In just 38 years, his identity has not yet spread in the entire dragon domain. In the hinterland of the Demon Scorpion Field, a huge black icy stone castle stands there. This huge black castle is where the Lord of the Scorpions lives. In the eternal dark prison, the environmental resources are limited. Although there are large territories, there are no cities in these territories, and there are very few buildings. Even if there are, they are mostly such stone castles or castles and the like. The Lord Scorpion's castle is wider than the Dragon Castle. Humming. A huge cosmic boat appeared in the void outside the castle. From the cosmic boat, 3 people came down, naturally the 3 swordsmen, the Dragon Lord and the Stone Martian Master. Shihua, your spaceship is really good. Jian Wushuang smiled. If the owner likes it, he will take it, said the Martian Master with a smile. Say it again. Jian Wushuang just waved his hand, followed by a look at the Demon Lord. Demon Dragon, your strength is similar to that Devil Lord, and you should be very familiar with his divine breath. You first look, he is not in this stone castle. Yes. The Lord of the Demon Dragons immediately stepped forward, and the power of the soul spread directly, and all the breath in the huge stone castle in front of him was within his perception range. Suddenly, at the deepest part of the stone fortress, there was an extremely strong and powerful breath. And that breath was slightly stronger than his Demon Dragon Lord. I noticed this breath and the Dragon Lord couldn't help laughing. Master, the old scorpion is in this stone castle and hasn't left. It seems he hasn't got any news yet, said the Dragon Lord. That's all right. Jian Wushuang also showed a smile on his face. The reason why he arrived here in such an anxiety as fast as possible was that he was worried that the Scorpion Lord got the news in advance and hid. The Eternal Dark Prison is extremely vast, and a Scorpion domain alone is huge enough. If the Scorpion Lord hides, he may be really hard to find. Then I want to get the few treasures in the hands of the Scorpion Lord, especially that Liangzuan Town Monument is difficult. Fortunately, he is fast enough. The Lord of the Scorpions has not heard of it yet. Master, that old scorpion also senses my existence and has come towards us. Demon Lord said. Let's go, we will meet the Lord of Scorpions. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. Wu Jin Wushan and the Dragon Lord rushed forward, and the Stone Martian Lord waited quietly on the spacecraft. Soon Jian Wushuang met the Scorpion Lord. Lord Scorpion, his whole body is covered with a layer of black armor, his hair is messy, his nose is sunken, and there are black secret lines next to the corners of his eyes. These black secret lines are like scales, and they look incomparable. The appearance of this Scorpion Lord can also be said to be extremely ugly. Devil Dragon, why did you come to me today? The Lord Scorpion narrowed his eyes and stared at the Lord Dragon. As for the sword Shou Shuang beside him, he didn't care too much. Old Scorpion, I am here today to introduce you to someone. The Dragon Lord smiled and cried. Recommend someone, just the ruler by your side? The Lord of Scorpions revealed his surprise. Yes, it is my master, the Lord of the Blood Sword. The Lord Dragon smiled. Master? The Lord Scorpion was startled. Lord of the Scorpion. Jian Wushuang looked at the Lord of the Scorpion with a smile and flipped his right hand. He already took out the token of the red cloud. Chapter 39:20. 5 more arrived today. A red cloud of tokens. Seeing the token taken out of Jian Wu's hands, the Lord of the Scorpions was frightened and almost fluttered. He screamed, his face twitching madly, making the already ugly face even more ugly. In the first level of this eternal dark prison, the Lord of the Scorpion Lords is definitely going to have wind and rain. If there is rain, there is a transcendence of existence. Even inside the top 10 kings, he exists a little to those star demon ancestors. Except for fear, he didn't take his other minds seriously. Such superpowers have not been scared or panicked for a long time in eternal dark prison, let alone scared. But now, the Lord of the Scorpions is really frightened. He is not afraid of anyone or other kings, even if he is the ancestor of Star Devil. Although mysterious, he is also jealous, but if the other party is killed, he is not afraid. But what is he doing in the face of this eternal? The true master is incapable of facing the red cloud who created this eternal dark prison. Demon dragon, you hurt me! The Scorpion Lord snarled, and the next moment he was suppressed by Jian Wushuang. After a long while, in the stone castle of the Lord of the Scorpions. The Lord of the Scorpions, who was still unwilling to roar above the void, was standing in front of the sword without reverence at this moment, and the Lord of Dragons was standing side by side with him. Magic Scorpion, I heard the magic dragon said, you have 5 treasures in your hand, all of them. Sword Wushuangdo. The corner of the Scorpion Lord's mouth twitched slightly, and his eyes looked a little coldly at the next Dragon Lord. The Lord of the Demon Dragons is gloating. It was also suppressed, and it was also chosen to surrender to Sword Warrior. However, the Lord of the Dragon Swords did not have a rule of treasure. As for the other Sword Warriors of the Sword, they were not very interested, but the Lord of the Scorpions had 5 rules. Of these 5 rules, Jian Wushuang definitely wants it. Although full of unwillingness, the Lord of Scorpions immediately took out the 5 rules of the treasure. These 5 rules are precious. In addition to the 2 town monuments, there are a blue sword, a warhammer, and a purple stone stick. Master, these 5 rules are in the treasure. The warhammer is my attacking soldier. With his strength, my strength can stabilize the front line of the dragon. The Scorpion Lord said a little. He said this mainly because he wanted to tell Jian Wushuang that the warhammer was his best blade. He wanted to leave the warhammer. Jian Wushuang glanced at the Lord of the Scorpions, and immediately threw his hand over the warhammer. Since you use the warhammer, it will be left to you. Thank you, Master, thank you, Master. Lord Scorpion immediately rejoiced. This stone stick should be the one you have been longing for in the Devil Dragon? Jian Wushuang looked at the Demon Dragon Lord again. Yes. The Lord of the Dragons nodded again and again, looking at the stone stick full of heat. Okay, this stone stick is for you. I hope that your strength will be improved. Jian Wushuangdo. Thank the Master. The Lord Dragon also thanked him quickly and said, the Master is assured. The reason why I was not an opponent of this Scorpion, or the lack of the rule of the hand, the precious treasure, now with this stone stick, my battle the force will never be weaker or even stronger than the Scorpion. Strength? Devil Dragon, you are too arrogant. The Lord of the Scorpion gave him a cold glance. Why, don't believe it. When I've refined the stone stick, you and I can look at it. The Lord of the Dragons deliberately provoked. Okay, fight, fight. There was a trace of anger in the Lord Scorpion's eyes. Shut up. Jian Wushuang's voice sank. The Lord of the Demon Dragons and the Lord of the Scorpions calmed down immediately. Jian Wushuang is continuing to look at the 3 rules in front of the treasure. This sword. I have some of my servants who use the sword as their blade, but the strength is not too strong. Even if this rule is the precious sword, the overall combat strength will not be too great. Keep it first. Wushuang waved the ruled treasure sword into Qianyun's ring. As for the last 2 town monuments, Jian Wushuang is directly refined in the face of the Lord of the Scorpions, and the process is very short, just a moment of effort. How come, this is the town monument I spent a lot of money before I could not really refine one of them, but the Master you? The Scorpion Lord looked at Jian Wushuang in astonishment. Stupid, I'm afraid you don't know yet, but the Master has realized a trace of the super genius of the universe. Isn't it easy to refine the town's monument? The Lord Dragon taunted. Is that so? The Lord of Scorpions suddenly understood, and at the same time there was a shock in his heart. The Lord of the Rules realized a trace of the law of the universe, which was incredible. The reason why I can refining these 2 town monuments so quickly is mainly because I have had refining experience before. Jian Wushuang said, Have you any experience? The Lord of the Scorpions stunned, Master, Do you have another town monument in your hand? Of course. Qi Jian Wushuang smiled, and immediately another town monument appeared in the void in front of him. Of course, under the deliberate control of Jian Wushuang, the 3 town monuments have been reduced in size, only a few feet tall. 3 statues of the town monument. The Scorpion Lord's gaze was fiery. I heard from the dragon that these years you have been looking for the whereabouts of the 3rd town monument. Because of this, I came to you the first time. If I am not wrong, you should have the special law circle that cooperates with this town's sky monument? Sword Wushuang stared at the Lord Scorpion. The Scorpion Lord took a deep breath, and immediately Zheng Jianjian head. Master, I do have that magic circle, and it happens to be the first level of magic circle that requires 3 town monuments. That's great. Jian Wushuang's eyes lightened. Give me that array. The Lord of the Scorpions didn't hesitate. He waved a hand and gave it to Jian Wushuang. The magic circle is in this ring. The master can take a closer look. Wu Jian won the command, and consciousness immediately searched. Sure enough, there is a specific information about the special magic circle in the order, including the control steps and methods. However, this law formation was created by the top supreme who created the town monument. After that, the top emperor excels in the accomplishment of the formation law. With this law formation and 108 town monuments, it is comparable to an invincible supreme level of space overlord. Although the first-level legal matrix he obtained now is simplified, it can be cast with only 3 town monuments, but it is still extremely complicated and profound for the current Sword Wushuang. Chapter 39-21. The first is more. This law formation is really esoteric. Fortunately, I have studied the 2 sword formations before. More or less, I can be regarded as an entry in the formation, and I am barely qualified to participate in this law formation. Stone Mars, who is good at formation, is here. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. Such a profound legal array, he needs to master it, and it takes some time. Stonefire, you can also look at this law formation. Your accomplishments are extremely high. When I master this law formation, I need your pointer to help. Jian Wushuangdo. Yes. The Lord of Mars nodded and took the order. The 5 rules of the magic scorpion are precious. 2 town monuments are thrown. The other 3 rules are only attacking the magic soldier, and it does not help me. Jian Wushuang shook his head secretly. He was still looking forward to the magic scorpion. The Lord can have an arcane treasure of other types. For example, the arcane warframe or the domain, flight, and so on. Unfortunately, the 5 rules of the Lord of the Scorpions are precious. Except for the town monument, they are all attacking magic soldiers. Of course, the Lord of the Scorpions had 2 town monuments, which surprised him greatly. Compared to the Lord of the Scorpions, the ancestor of the Star Devil let Jian Wushuang truly disappoint. After his death, the ancestor of the Star Demon, all his treasures, including his Qinkuan ring, naturally fell into the sword without hands. Wu Kejian carefully searched before. There was no rule of treasure in the treasure left by the ancestor of the Star Devil. Although the Lord of the Dragons said at the beginning that among the known kings who have the rule of treasure, this star ancestor is not included, but the star ancestor is the mysterious and most special one of the 10 kings. There are endless means of success, and he has no rules in his hands, no one dare to determine. So after knowing the mystery of the Star Demon ancestor, Jian Wushuang at that time guessed that there should be 1 or 2 rules of treasure in the hands of the Star Demon ancestor. He actually didn't even have one. Not only is there no rule for the treasure, and among the many treasures left by the Star Demon ancestors, although the number is huge and there are many types, it is really worthy of the sword unparalleled surprise or care, but there is none. It can be said that the Star Demon ancestors those treasures left are too ordinary to Jian Wushuang. Also, the ancestors of the Star Devil could ignore the special power of the Eternal Dark Prison Array's repressive power. Jian Wushuang did not find any traces of the ancestors of the Star Demon ancestors or their bodies. I can say that although he killed the Star Demon ancestor, he did not get anything useful to him. This makes Jian Wushuang very strange. Because in his view, The mysterious and unpredictable kings such as the star demon ancestors have emerged endlessly, and even the special powers they possessed have once attracted the eye of the red clouds in the heyday. Such a special existence and resources in their hands, how can there be so few treasures, even so poor? I'm too poor. Many of the things left by the ancestors of the star demon are not as valuable as any king, which is obviously a bit weird. Adding to the calmness of the star demon ancestor when he died at the beginning, there is no slight anxiety and panic, and the words left before the death of the star demon ancestor make Jian Wushuang's inner vigilance even more. The ancestor of Xing Mo, have you really died? Jian Wushuang squinted his eyes slightly, and there was a hint of doubt in his heart. However, there is no way to be sure. I shook my head, and Jian Wushuang didn't think about it. Magic Scorpion, Magic Dragon, you too are one of the kings. Have you ever known the remaining kings who have the rule of treasure? Do they have any type of rule of treasure in addition to attacking the magic soldiers? Jian Wushuang asked Road. Well. The Lord Scorpion and the Lord Dragon looked at each other. The former affirmed with certainty, Master, among the remaining great kings, there are indeed a few of them who have the rule of treasure, but all they have are attacks magic soldiers. As for other types, I am afraid there are no, at least we have not seen them come out. None. Jian Wushuang frowned. Master, you also know that the first level of this eternal dark prison is dominated by the first and second series. As for the third series, they are actually accumulated after a long period of time. Slowly breaking through, for many of the masters here, the rule of law is the treasure that cannot be reached. The reason why there are so many arcane treasures in the first floor of Eternal Dark Prison now is because there were too many prisoners in the original detention, and a few of them who had bad luck got the arcane treasure, but they all have it's just attacking the soldiers. Of course, the Zhen Tianbei can be regarded as the rule of repression. However, this town Tianbei is very special and has a large number, so it will fall into the hands of some first or second grade masters. Fall into my hands? Lord Scorpion said. Which is the case, then I don't need to exhaust my efforts to deal with those other kings. Jian Wushuang said. In fact, it is only a few decades before he killed the star demon ancestors. The other kings of the domain should not have heard the news, nor have they chosen to hide. If he is now the fastest, the speed of the spacecraft drives the spacecraft, and there is still a chance to suppress one or two kings. But Jian Wushuang apparently didn't intend to do this. After all, those kings should not have a rule that is useful to him. Even if he suppresses one king, he will not get much. It is better to spend these time used to enlighten the method that drives Zhen Tianbei. The following time, Jian Wushuang stayed in this magic scorpion castle and realized the special law formation. The Jaina method is called the God Magic Town Sky method. Although it is only a simplified version of the first layer, it is still enough to study the school time. At the same time as Jian Wushuang studied the formation, the news that the ancestor of the Star Devil was dead and the Lord of the Dragon was suppressed and forced to surrender has begun to spread in the first layer of Eternal Dark Prison. As expected by Jian Wushuang, the remaining 7 kings were shocked when they heard the news. The first choice they made was to escape from the castle where they lived and find everywhere is hidden. They were also afraid that the Lord of the Blood Sword, who had a token of the Red Cloud, would kill the door directly to suppress them. After all, they might be stronger than the main blood sword in terms of strength, but the other party has a red cloud of tokens, which can easily suppress them. Once suppressed, their lives and deaths are under the control of each other. Of course, these kings dare not take risks. I concealed myself and escaped for hundreds of millions of years. Chapter 3922. Second more. In the Scorpion Castle, Jian Wushuang has lived here for 130 years. In this 130 years, Jian Wushuang has devoted all his energy to the research of the God and Magic Town Sky formation, plus the help of the Lord of Mars and the Lord of the Scorpions to help point, until now he will finally this method was barely mastered. 130 years, this is only the simplest first-level legal matrix. If it is a higher second-level legal matrix, a third-level legal matrix, or even the ultimate level of this legal matrix, I really do know how complicated it is. What is it like? Jian Wushuang secretly sighed. This is mainly because the master's practice time is too short, and there is not much research on confrontation methods, so it will take a long time. If you change to some live time, the practitioners in the school field will be bored. There will be some research in the field, and it will certainly be the same with the method of confrontation. It should be easier for them to understand the law. Shermars said. This is also true. Jian Wushuang nodded with a smile. His cultivation time is indeed too short. Compared with those who are held in the eternal dark prison for hundreds of chaos period, it is too short and too short. These masters have lived for too long and are too boring. Naturally, they will be involved in various paths, and they will naturally study in the formation method. Sun Jian Wushuang has only really begun to get involved in the formation of the two major sword formations in recent years. It is naturally incomparable to those who have lived a long time. Stone Fire, Magic Scorpion, these years, there are two labor. Sword Wushuangdo. Master is polite. Stone Mars said. It is a blessing for both of them to serve the Master, said the Lord Scorpion. In this 130 years, the Lord of Mars and the Lord of the Scorpions helped the sword unparalleled. It is needless to say that the Master of Flint and Mars, together with the formation method, can give Jian Wushuang very guidance and help. And the Lord of the Scorpions, although his understanding of the formation method is far less than the Lord of the Martian, he was the first to get the magic square of the heavenly formation. He has already mastered this formation and can naturally give the sword unparalleled experience and help. It is precisely because of the help of the two of them that Jian Wushuang only spent 130 years, otherwise they are afraid that it will take longer. The legal array has been mastered, and now it is time to try the power of this legal array. Let's go. Jian Wushuang smiled and swept directly into the void outside the castle. Soon, Jian Wushuang came to a vast expanse of void. Without millions of miles in this void, no practitioner exists. And Sword Wushuang, standing in the center of this void, waved his hands, and immediately the three towering town monuments floated out at the same time and fell in three different corners of this void. The monuments in the town of Sanzuan exude an ancient and vast atmosphere. God and Magic Town Kai. Swords in Wushuang's eyes flashed fiercely, and a number of special handprints patted one after another. Under the guidance and control of Sword Wushuang, the three celestial beings were lifted up, and a series of complex golden mysterious patterns flashed and flashed quickly, buzzing. The void shook slightly. The next moment, golden lights radiated from the three monuments of the town at the same time. This golden light is connected to each other, and in the blink of an eye, the three town monuments have completely intersected, and a large golden law formation has been formed directly. This golden circle is like a huge golden cage, covering the vast world, and a breath of horror is constantly rising in this circle. Magic Dragon, try it in my circle. Jian Wushuang instructed. Yes. The Lord of the Dragons nodded, and his shape immediately plunged into the center of the golden circle. I want to start you, be careful. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly, followed his thoughts. Suppress. Boom. The entire golden circle was a sudden roar, and the endless golden light covered the Magic Dragon Lord directly at an incredible speed. These golden lights are all invisible. The Lord of the Dragons wanted to dispel these golden lights for the first time, but as a result, his power would not have any effect on the golden lights. I saw the golden light sweeping across the sky, and this sight covered the entire body of the Dragon Lord. At this moment, the Dragon Lord felt only a horrible power acting on his body. Although this power did not bring him how much damage has suppressed his mind to the greatest extent, suppressing his power. This repressive force is very strong. Although I can't resist the first time I can suppress it, but my strength is greatly weakened under this repressive force. It is estimated that I can exert 70% of my strength, even if it is good. The Lord of the Dragons is a little horrified. Can you still play 70% of your strength? Jian Wushuang's look moved, not surprised. The magical town of heaven and magic is to suppress the world to the greatest extent, and the practitioners will naturally be subjected to a huge force of repression when they are trapped in the circle. However, because of the weak power of Jian Wushuang, the suppressive force should not be too bad. I use this strength to perform this demon suppression method. I am afraid that the general first series and even second series can easily resist the suppression, and the general third series is dominated by in my circle. I am afraid that I will have to tremble, and my strength can show 2 or 3 achievements, but the Dragon Lord, after all, is one of the top 10 kings. He is capable and can play nearly 70% of his power. Sword Wushuang muttered. However, this is just the most basic repressive force revealed after the Magic Dragon Celestial Array cooperates with the Zhentian Monument, and the power contained in the 3 town monuments has not yet been fully exerted. Qi Jian Wushuang smiled, but her eyes flickered, but a ray of cosmic law merged into the 3 town monuments at the same time. Suddenly, roar! Faintly heard a low hissing sound, the 3 town monuments trembled violently. Immediately on the surface of the 3 town monuments, the endless golden secret lines condensed, but they were condensed into 3 towering tall gold at the same time virtual shadow. These 3 golden ghosts are the golden ghosts and ghosts hidden in the town monument. The town monument was created by the extremely top-ranking Supreme who formed the original formation together. This top Supreme created 108 town monuments, and each town monument contained a golden color. The remnant soul of the demon. This golden demon is actually some extremely powerful practitioners. All of them had the ultimate dominance during their lifetime. Unfortunately, they were all killed by the top Supreme and incorporated their remnants into the town's monument. The arrogance of the town monument. Of course, this was created by the top Supreme, the first 108 town monuments. Chapter 39-23. Third more. Qizhen Tianbei can be divided into 2 types. One type is the 108 town monuments created by the top Supreme. The 108 town monuments are extremely powerful. Each one is a top-class rule. The value is even more valuable. Immeasurable. The other is that some powerful people later refine their own town monuments, and they can also be used in conjunction with the town monuments of the gods and magic towns. The Golden Demon Remnant Soul, but the quality of this Golden Demon Remnant Soul is not as good as the first one. The 108 town monuments created by the top Supreme are the ultimate souls of the ultimate masters, which are the top-level magic array treasures, and the town monuments refined by future generations. Most of the close-up demon ghosts are only ghosts dominated by the 4th or 5th series, and the materials used are not the same. On the level, they are only the level of inferiority. The 3 town monuments that Jian Wushuang now holds obviously belong to the second type. But even so, the control of this town monument is also very difficult. Jian Wushuang still has to understand a little cosmic law to be able to master the town monument, and it can also awaken the golden demon's soul inside. Like the Lord of the Scorpions, although he also mastered the magical town of Heavenly Magic Array, even if Jian Wushuang handed over the 3 town monuments to him, he could barely rely on the magical array to display the suppression. However, it was impossible to summon the golden ghost of Zhentianbei. This is also where the Lord of the Scorpions is far worse than the sword unparalleled. Now, the 3 golden demon remnants are all emerging, and suddenly a terrible power bursts out from these 3 golden demon remnants. In a short time, the tremendous repressive power that had been so great has been improved a great deal on the basis of the original. The suppression is stronger, my dear, my current strength. I am afraid that I can only play at most 50%. The Lord of the Dragon's face sank slightly. At the same time that the repressive power was greatly increased, the 3 golden demon remnants sent out a hazy golden light and surged towards the sword unparalleled. Under the baptism of golden light, Jian Wushuang felt his divine power, and at this moment he got a tremendous improvement. This improvement is like a special mystery. The power to suppress, to the greatest extent, to suppress the opponent, but at the same time, my strength has been improved to a certain extent. Jian Wushuang's eyes twinkled. This magic town Tianfa array is actually quite detailed with some domain methods. Many domain methods are used to oppress opponents, but at the same time they can bless themselves. Now the same can be done with this magic town, but the effect is stronger. In addition to the repressive power, this magic devil's heavenly formation also contains a heavy killing trick. This heavy killing move, Jian Wushuang already mastered. Magic Dragon, next I will use this magic array to kill. You have to be careful. If you can't support it, then say Jian Wushuangdo. The master is as good as he can do it. The Dragon Lord's eyes were dignified. He turned his hands, and a purple stone stick appeared in his hands. This purple stone stick is exactly the magic circle obtained from the Lord of the Scorpions. The Lord of the Dragons has refined this purple stone stick over the years. With the rule of treasure at hand, the power of this Dragon Lord is naturally stronger than before. A lot. French array kill. The sword has no double-sided color syncing, and the imposing golden light bursts out from the 3 town monuments at the same time, and the 3 golden gods and ghosts on the town monument also stare more. Howling Lala. This mighty golden light, like a blade, easily cuts through the void, like an ocean of swords, madly attacking and killing the Demon Dragon Lord. The Demon Dragon Lord immediately waved the purple stone stick in his hand. Boom. Boom. I saw a horrifying spectacle of violent blasts, and the violent blasts burst out, dispersing all the golden light from the surroundings. After dozens of attacks, the sky-like golden light finally dissipated. The Lord of the Demon Dragons is still standing at the very center of the golden circle, but at this moment his breath is a bit turbulent. Why did the master stop? The Dragon Lord looked over. He could see the golden light just like a blade. Although he had been defeated a lot by him, it should not have reached the limit of this magic circle. This magic circle should be okay. Cast more golden light. Magic Dragon, how do you think I can do that trick? Jian Wushuang asked. It's very strong. The golden light and power are extremely good. They are no less than the full blow of the 3rd level. The key quantity is also many. I can only exert 5 strengths under the suppression of this circle. Success, even if I have to resist these golden lights, it is not easy. Said the Dragon Lord. But don't you all resist it in the end? Jian Wushuang smiled lightly, but if he looked closely, there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. Yes, it's a surprise. Hagahara Sword originally had great expectations for the power of this magic town, and now it is being put on display. This law team did not disappoint him. Whether it is the repressive power of the French front or the blessing of his own strength, it has a great effect on him. But what really surprised him was the heavy killing trick he just performed. With this heavy killing trick, you can send out a golden light like a blade. These golden lights are densely attacked, and the power is very powerful. However, Jian Wushuang saw from these golden lights some similarities to his wave of light sword formation. The wave of light sword formation is to form a huge sword-like ocean and carry out the sword-like wave impact again and again. That sword-like wave is vast and endless, no matter who it is, as long as it falls into his sword formation, unless it can rely the powerful attack method directly defeated his sword formation, or used his escape technique to fight from his sword formation. Otherwise he would have been trapped in this sword formation and always suffered the impact of the sword wave. If it is purely on the nature, the devil's heavy killing trick is to kill the opponent. And the wave lightsaber array is just to trap the enemy. Judging from the process of the two, they do have many similarities, that is, the golden light strikes like a blade, and the endless impact of swordsmanship in his wave of lightsabers. Let Jian Wushuang's mind suddenly had an idea. If I can combine my wave lightsaber array with this Demon Town Sky Law formation, no, just with this demon move of the Devil Town Sky Law formation, can the power be stronger? Jian Wushuangren murmured, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. Chapter 39-24. Fourth More. Stone Fire. Jian Wushuang called the stone Mars over. One direction in my mind is whether the killing tricks in the heavenly array of the gods and demons I just cast can be compared with the wave of lightsaber array created by myself. A combination of the two? Combined with the sword array? Master of the Martians stared, then nodded. Master, The killing trick you just cast, in the final analysis, is still performed by the magic town Tianfa array, which belongs to a method of matrix method. Since it is a matrix method, in principle, it can be combined with other matrix methods, and naturally can also be combined with the master sword array, but the process is more complicated, and the master may have to spend some time before it can be done. It doesn't matter if it takes some time, as long as it is thousands or thousands of years, it is worth my try. Jian Wu Shuangdo. Thousands of years and tens of thousands of years will not be too much. After all, the master of the gods and magic towns of Tianfa Formation, you have completely mastered it. According to my estimation, the master will combine his sword array with the murderous tricks of the gods and magic towns of Tianfa Formation. It should take decades to do it, Stone Mars said. Okay, then study for decades. Jian Wushuang smiled. He did not return to the Scorpion Castle, but in this void, began to try to study. However, the Lord of the Dragons has completely become the object of his trial of the sword formation, and the Lord of the Dragons is afraid to complain. The time passed every day, and it took only 26 years for Jian Wushuang to make an unknown number of attempts before finally combining his wave of light sword array with that of the magic town and heavenly array. He is also in that void, and is also the Lord of the Dragons, under the cover of the huge golden circle. Walking around the circle of law, on the 3 towering town monuments, the 3 golden gods and ghosts have also condensed, and the greatest power has erupted. With that repressive force, the Monster Dragon Lord was suppressed madly, so that the strength of the Monster Dragon Lord can only play at most 50%. Magic Dragon, pick up. Qi Jian Wushuang smiled, and the 3 monuments of the town in time were gigantic, as if the sword-like golden light burst out. At the same time, Jian Wushuang's wave of light sword array has also been launched. The sky sword-like ocean rolled up a wave of sword-like waves. It is noteworthy that the mighty golden light did not take long after it was plucked out, and it combined with the sword-like ocean to each other, and for an endless time, the sword-like wave with the golden light was overwhelmingly impacting the Demon Dragon Lord. Come here, this golden light sword waves, the mighty sky. A random wave of sword-like waves rushed, and that power was enough to make the ordinary third-order master dominate the color. The Dragon Lord held the purple stone stick tightly in his right hand. He also noticed the arrogance of the heavy golden light sword wave around him, and immediately shot. The sticks smashed out, but only a few collisions. The face of the Dragon Lord changed. How is it possible that although I can only exert about 50% of my strength, even if I have 50% of my strength, it is definitely the 3rd level advanced combat power, and it is still a lot stronger than the average, darkest strongest. But now, when I go on a stick, I still use the rule of the most precious magic soldier, but I just barely crushed a heavy golden sword wave? The Dragon Lord was a little dazed. You know, he was absolutely crushing the sword unparalleled in strength before. Jian Jian's unparalleled wave lightsaber array is on display, and he can cause the entire sword array to collapse by more than one stick at will. Now, although his own strength has been suppressed, he can show it at will, and the entire sword formation should be shaken. When the actual result came out, he put it on display with a stick, but it was just the first heavy sword wave from the surrounding assault. In other words, the power contained in a single heavy golden sword-like wave is not weaker than him, and it is estimated that it is already the strongest blow of the strongest in the dark area. Like the first axe of 1,000 killing emperor, I'm afraid that Wei Ning is equivalent to a heavy sword. He must know that the first axe for the 1,000-slave monarch is the skill of the 1,000-slave monarch. After one axe, he must reaccumulate his strength before he can cast the second axe. But now in this sword array, the endless golden sword-like waves are coming. Each heavy golden sword-like wave is comparable to the first axe of the 1,000-slaying monarch, which is terrible. The Lord of the Dragons also had to make a full shot to defeat the heavy golden sword-like waves around it. 1, 2, or even dozens of waves were okay. He could resist it. Dozens, hundreds of times. After the impact, even the Dragon Lord couldn't stop it. Magic Dragon, use your strongest trick to see if you can break my sword array. Jian Wushuang said in a loud voice. The Lord of the Demon Dragons did not hesitate, and saw a terrible evil sweeping up, and on his face, black scales appeared one after another. He has revealed part of the body. He followed closely. A gleam of light appeared on the surface of his body, but the purple stone stick in his hand waved out one after another. Boom, boom, boom. 3 consecutive sticks, each containing explosive power, directly bombarded the surrounding sword-like ocean. The strongest trick of the Lord of Dragons, and the strongest trick that the rule of the magic weapon is used to cast, the power is amazing. 3 consecutive sticks can be bombarded on the sword-like ocean, although it makes the entire sword-like ocean. It shuddered a lot, and the sword-like waves that were heavy defeated one after another, and the entire sword formation collapsed, but that was only the case. In just a few moments, the entire sword formation completely recovered, and a large number of golden sword-like waves continued to endlessly impact the demon dragon lord. This Lord Dragon's eyes widened and his head was a little cyan. And Jian Wushuang saw this scene, but laughed. Yes, the wave of light sword array and the magic trick of the town of heaven and magic array, the two perfectly combined, complement each other, so that the power of this sword array enhanced too much. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands. Before that, he fully exerted the wave lightsaber array, and the power of the heavy saber wave was barely comparable to the ordinary attack of the 3rd series. As for the toughness of the array, some powerful dark areas are the strongest. He'll be able to break open his formation. But now, in combination with the killing moves of the Magic Town Heavenly Formation, the golden light covers the surface of the sword wave, and the whole wave of sword formation has undergone earth-shaking changes. Now that his wave of lightsaber array is unfolding, each heavy golden sword-like wave impact power can be comparable to the strongest hit of the darkest strongest, and it can be comparable to the level of the first axe of the Thousand-Slave Monarch. To the degree of tenacity, even the demon dragon, one of the 10 kings, can't break through the strongest killing tricks by the rule of the magic weapon. Comparing this one by one, there is too much power to improve. Chapter 39-25. 5 more arrive today. Now if I fully exert this sword array and cooperate with the magic and magic town sky law array, I can easily kill the dragon. Jian Wushuang looked at the dragon lord in front of him. The Lord of the Dragons has already performed his strongest trick, and as a result, he can't break his sword array at all, and the golden light sword wave that is comparable to the power of the darkest strongest trick can hit it again and again. The magic power of the Dragon Lord is constantly consumed. The only thing the Dragon Lord can do is to continuously and passively resist the golden light sword wave, and on the other side is to find a way to escape from the sword array. Don't forget, however, that the Lord of Dragons is now in the magic circle of the magic town. The demons and celestial battlefields are repression-type legal battlements, directly suppressing this world, or driving the 3 towns and towns monuments at the same time. This kind of repression-like legal battlements may not be able to defeat even the 4th-ranked master. The Lord of the Dragons is in this circle, and his life-saving secrets may not be used at all, and he cannot escape. I can't think of it in just over 100 years, I have the ability to slay the demon dragon lord. The sword has no two-sided color and is strange. Before I wanted it more than 100 years ago when the Lord of the Dragons came to him, he was not an opponent at all, and he could only suppress it with the token of Hongyun. He can kill the Dragon Lord now even if there is no red cloud token. Of course, the reason for this is mainly based on the 3 town monuments and the magic town heaven law formation. Aside from this method, his real combat power is still far from the level of the Dragon Lord. Anyway, starting today, I have another extra whole card, and now I am just the ruler, and I can't really exert the power of this magic town heavenly formation. If one day I break through and reach the domination, if you cast this magic array again, that's probably the real fear. Jian Wushuang smiled. Well, Devil Dragon, stop. Jian Wushuang waved his hand, and the crazy impact of Jingguang Sword Ocean disappeared on the spot. As for the gods and demons that suppressed this world, the heavenly formation has also converged. On the 3 monument town monuments, the 3 golden gods and ghosts have also disappeared. The 3 monument town monuments have been reduced in size, and have been included in the heavenly ring by the sword unparalleled. Both the sword formation and the demon town Tianfa formation were withdrawn, and then the Lord Dragon exhaled heavily. I have to say that the time he was caught in the sword formation was really miserable. Congratulations to the master, the sword formation is finally reached. The Lord of Mars came to Jian Wushuang first. The master's sword array, combined with the God Demon Town's heavenly formation, the combination of the two, the power is really powerful. If this demon dragon is an enemy, I am afraid that he is already dead in the master your sword array. The Scorpion Lord also said. Okay. Wu Jianshou only smiled slightly, but from his expression, he was extremely happy. The magical town of heaven and magic has been mastered, and my sword array can perfectly cooperate with it. The enlightenment of these years is not a waste. Magic Scorpion, Magic Dragon, and Stone Fire. We are leaving when the three of you are ready. Sword Wushuangdo. Go away. The Lord Scorpion Lord, Lord Dragon, and Stone Mars looked at each other. All of them had a hint of surprise and excitement in their eyes. Master, but are you going to leave this eternal dark prison? The Lord Scorpion excited. He also doesn't blame him for being so excited. You must know that they were all detained by Hong Yun in this eternal dark prison. Hundreds of chaos ages have passed so far. What a long time it is. I have been trapped here for such a long time, and my heart is almost desperate. Before they surrendered to Jian Wushuang, they knew that Jian Wushuang could take them out of the eternal dark prison. From that time, they have been looking forward to it. They look forward to leaving here, leaving this ghost place, and returning to the universe. It's time to leave. Jian Wushuang smiled lightly. In fact, he has not been in this eternal dark prison for a long time, less than 1,000 years. But in this millennium his gains have been huge. He not only made great strides in his own strength, but also got 3 town monuments and mastered the Magic Town Heaven Law formation. In addition, he has also recovered many strong men. And then, if his identity was not revealed, he wouldn't mind staying in the eternal dark prison for a longer period of time. If possible, he could try to conquer the other 7 kings. But now, his identity has spread in this eternal dark prison. Perhaps most of the strong are not aware of it, but the remaining 7 kings have their own ability to collect intelligence information. They must know that he exists. As long as those kings are not stupid, they will choose to hide. Since hiding, it is difficult to find the sword unparalleled. After all, he is not a high-level powerful man in the Red Cloud vein. He is not strong enough to rely on the Red Cloud vein tokens to greatly mobilize the eternal power of the eternal dark prison. Everything is in sight. I see NT deal with those kings anymore, so staying here is useless. As for the other layers of the eternal dark prison, he couldn't go at all. Even the first floor was because he knew exactly where the entrance was, and the flaws of the eternal dark prison circle were also there. As for the entrances of the other layers, he doesn't know. Even the misty adults in the Red Cloud realm, it's not clear. Otherwise, he can try to rely on the tokens of Red Cloud's veins to go to the other layers to conquer some strong ones. Then the threat of the Lord of the Stars can be easily lifted. The 3 of you are ready, and we immediately set off for the 9th dark zone of Demon Dragon Realm. The strongest ones in the dark zone I had previously subscribed were all there. In addition, the exit of the first floor of the eternal dark prison was also there. Sword unparalleled. Yes. The 3 Lord Scorpions all pressed their inner excitement and went to prepare. The number of my servants is still not enough, but I can try to capture and conquer as much as possible. Jian Wushuang smiled. Soon, Sword Warrior took the Lord of the Scorpion, Lord of the Dragon, Stone Lord, and several relatively strong darkest men who had been with the Lord of the Scorpion. Along the way, when Jian Wushuang swept across a dark area of the territory, he never idled, but often shot and went to the strongest of the dark areas one by one to conquer it. When Jian Wushuang returned to the 9th dark zone of the Dragon Domain, there were already more than 20 slaves behind him, plus the 1,000 slave monarchs who had already conquered and were waiting in the 9th dark zone. Blood Rain Demon, Lord of the Drake, Lord of the Red One, etc., all his slaves add up to a total of 41 people. Chapter 39-26. The first is more. Eternal Dark Prison, the ninth Dark Zone. In the vast expanse of void, a space channel has been temporarily opened. Wu Jianwushuang took his majesty with 41 slaves, standing in front of this space passage. This space passage is the exit. Across this, you can leave. Jian Wushuang smiled. The 41 slaves behind him, including the two most powerful lords, the demon dragon and the demon scorpion, now have unprecedented enthusiasm. Everyone leave with me. After Wu Jianshuang said it, he stepped directly into the space passage ahead. The 41 slaves naturally followed immediately, and soon they disappeared into the space passage, and when Jian Wushuang and others left, the space passage immediately dissipated. Eternal Dark Prison has once again restored its former calmness. Hongsher Mountain, very deep, in front of the entrance passage on the first floor of the Eternal Dark Prison, the ancient night demon waited there. Of course, what is waiting here at this moment is just an incarnation of consciousness left by the ancient night demon. As for his deity, he has already returned to the ancient night demon palace. Buzzing. The original calm French channel suddenly lighted up, followed by a shadow of a person walking out of that channel. Come out. Finally come out. Hundreds of chaos times, how many young people, finally come to an end. This outside air is so good. Haha, I finally came out alive from the ghost place. A series of cheerful laughter sounded one after another, and these prisoners who had just stepped out of the Eternal Dark Prison could hardly conceal their excitement and ecstasy at this moment. Jian Wushuang, who stood in front of the crowd, seemed extremely calm. Ancient Night Demon King? Jian Wushuang also noticed the incarnation of the Ancient Night Demon King in front of him. The Lord of the Blood Sword. The Ancient Night Demon stepped forward, but his gaze was watching everyone behind Jian Wushuang. Although he is just an incarnation of consciousness, not his deity here, he can still sense the incomparable strength of these people. And there are several of them he can directly recognize. Lord of the Demon Dragon. Next to this is the Lord of the Scorpion. There are 2 of the 10 kings. The ancient night demon glared. He also escaped from the Eternal Dark Prison by chance, but he is only a trivial little person in the first level of the Eternal Dark Prison, which is at the bottom. After all, he has not reached the 3rd level, but now the people standing in front of him are all in the 3rd series, and they are also the strongest in the 3rd series. All of them are at the level of the strongest in the dark area, and they are all outstanding. As for the Lord of the Dragons and Lord of the Scorpions, let alone, it is one of the 10 kings. That is the high existence that made him look up. But now, these top powerhouses are all standing behind Jian Wushuang honestly, and judging from their expressions, obviously they have already become the mainstay of Jian Wushuang. Ancient Night Demon King, is your conscious incarnation left here? Jian Wushuang looked at the Ancient Night Demon King in wonder. I purposely left the consciousness incarnation waiting here, just to see the results of your Eternal Dark Prison team, Lord of the Blood Sword. Now it seems that the Lord of the Blood Sword's gains from the Eternal Dark Prison are no small matter. The ancient Night Devil sighed, and looked humbler than ever. No way, the people behind Jian Wushuang at the moment are all capable of easily killing him, and they are obviously dominated by Jian Wushuang. If at this time they carelessly anger the Blood Sword Master, the Lord of the Blood Sword will let his subordinate take a shot at will, which is enough to easily kill him. It's okay to harvest. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. By the way, before entering the Eternal Dark Prison, I promised to kill the Star Demon Ancestor for you and did it. The ancestor of the Star Devil is dead? The ancient Night Demon trembled in his heart, and an ecstasy and excitement appeared in his eyes. The ancestor of the Star Devil, who has turned it into a livestock, has spent a full billion years. That billion years can be said to be absolutely inhuman and inferior to life. Therefore, he also has an unprecedented hatred for the ancestor of the Star Devil. This is why Jinsho Shuang was asked to slay the Star Demon Ancestor for him. Now he heard that Jian Wushuang really killed the Star Demon Ancestor for him. How could he not be excited? I did help you kill the Star Demon Ancestors. At this point, several people of the Demon Dragon can testify. They saw it with their own eyes, but am not sure if the star demon ancestors died. Jian Wushuang frown. Don't be sure. Gu Yimo Jun stunned. How to say, I did kill him, but I suspect that the ancestral ancestor may still have an avatar living in the world, but it is certain that the ancestral ancestor in the eternal dark prison must be dead. The sword is unparalleled. This is enough. The ancient night demon holds both hands and has the thrill of revenge. Well, the ancient night devil, if nothing is wrong, we will go first. Jian Wushuangdo. The lord of the blood sword is portable. The ancient night demon is smiling. Immediately, Jian Wushuang took his 41 slaves with his majesty and rushed directly towards the Red Rock Mountain. A large group of people passed through the inner area of Red Rock Mountain and did not deliberately hide the breath along the way. Encountered a lot of rulers on the way, feeling the breath of Jian Wushuang and others, they were scared a big jump. You know, everyone except Jian Wushuang is the third-level leader. Although the rule masters can't tell the strength of these masters, even the weakest first-level leader. It is dominated by more than 40 people. In this star field, it is also called astonishing. Where we are now, should we be in a dangerous place? Should be. We passed by many places, and some places even gave me a sense of danger, and there are still many little guys who are the rulers here. The ruler. In the eternal dark prison, I haven't felt the breath of the ruler for a long time except the master. The servants of Jian Wushuang also chatted along the way, but did not deal with the rule masters they encountered. He quickly left the range of Red Rock Mountain and set foot on the cosmic void, after which the Lord of Mars took out the cosmic boat. The matrix method on this cosmic boat is extremely damaged. Although the Lord of Mars improved these law arrays before, it only just adapted to shuttle in the eternal dark prison, and in the cosmic void, the cosmic boat can also shuttle, but it couldn't be too fast, but it was much faster than their speed. It didn't take long for the group to reach the void near the Shingon. End of this chapter. Chapter 3927. Second more. Magic Dragon, you are waiting on this spacecraft. Jian Wushuang commanded, even if Xian was alone, and swept away toward the front of the star house. Okay. After nearly 1,000 years, Jian Wushuang returned to the horoscope, but was shocked by the sight. I saw the void in front of me, and 3 Earth stars came side by side. The 3 Earth stars are obviously the smallest in the middle, but they are the core. These 3 Earth stars are all surrounded by powerful French asylums, and are connected to each other. A burst of mighty power spreads out, which is extremely deterrent. 3 Earth stars. The sword is not bizarre. You know, although the Star Palace originally occupied an Earth star as an old nest, it was only 1 Earth star. When did it become 3 Earth stars? And the soul power of Jian Wushuang permeated out, and instantly felt a lot of strong breath on these 3 Earth stars. The number is much more than before. It seems that the years in which I entered the eternal dark prison have changed greatly. Jian Wushuang smiled, but people have appeared on the most central planet, and the law array on that planet has not been blocked. As soon as he returned to the Star Palace and took the initiative to release the power of the soul, the Xian Shintaoists and the Lord of Time and Space who had stayed in the Star Palace naturally noticed that a few silhouettes greeted him immediately. My dear friend, you are back. Jian Tianho. The sound of greetings sounded loudly, and appeared in front of the sword without double sides. In addition to the 4 people of the Xian Shinto, the Master of Time and Space, the leader of the Cut Heaven Alliance, and the Heavenly Ancestor, there were 2 others. The 2 men also knew Sword Wushuang, who was from Xian Yan of the 7-star Xuanzong and Emperor 13. Xian Yan, as the Punishment Palace Master of Qixing Xuanzong, was already the master before the collapse of Qixing Xuanzong. He now appears in Shingon, and Jian Wushuang is not surprised. But Emperor 13. Jian Wushuang looked at Emperor 13 in front of him. He could sense the unparalleled sharp breath on the ladder. The ladder stood there as if it had converged on the edge, but it still made people's hearts. The thrilling world sword. This Emperor 13, his breath is much stronger than before. Dominion. Jian Wu's eyes flashed with a strange light, followed by a smile. Emperor 13, Congratulations, you finally broke into the domination. Good luck. Emperor 13 was flat. Good luck. Jian Wushuang shook his head secretly. He is very clear that Emperor Xii's breakthrough to become the master is by no means luck. You know, before the fall of the 7-star Emperor Xuanzong, Emperor 13 was recognized as the first person of the ruler. Even when he used the ruler's realm, he had cut off the arm of the master. Although the master was in the beginning, the realm of the gods was suppressed, but Emperor 13 was able to do this, and he was still very good. He was already infinitely close to his master at the beginning. Unfortunately, before he broke through, the 7-star Xuanzong was greatly changed and directly destroyed. He also fell into a deep sleep and spent a long time in the chaotic world of ancient times. During that long time, because the environment of Tiandao is limited, his strength cannot be improved at all. Until recent years, Jian Wushuang has refined the eternal chaotic world and brought them all back to the beginning of the world, so that their strength can slowly recover and begin to improve. He added that God 13 fought against himself at first, and although he lost in his own hands, he also gained a lot of understanding, and then he closed it directly. And this time, Emperor 13 broke through and became the master. I can say that Emperor 13 can break through. It is purely to achieve its own strength, and it is a thick accumulation of thin hair. There is no luck at all. Tianho Xiaoyu, I'm afraid you don't know yet. This Emperor 13 has a very high understanding of the origin of Kendo. After the war with you, the retreat has been greatly improved in recent years, and he has perfected his sword system and made a breakthrough. After becoming the master, in these years he went to practice in the 3rd Dao realm. Progress was even faster and he learned a rule. Now, he has become a higher master in the realm of the realm, and in terms of combat ability he is as powerful as the top master. Now we are in the beginning of the divine world. Except for you, the emperor, the 13 is the strongest. Xian Shendao laughed aside. Oh! Jian Wushuang couldn't help but glance at Emperor 13. How long has it been since he broke through the domination, and he directly has the top dominating combat power, which is better than the mysterious Shintos and the Lord of the Sky. It's mainly the triple path, it's too magical. Emperor 13 is still bland. He shrugged his shoulders without help. He had contacted Emperor 13 many times, and he knew that Emperor 13 was such a cold, dumb person. By the way, in the millennium I was away, how did the overall strength of the gods in the early days improve? Jian Wushuang asked. He gave the triple path to Xuani them very early, and countless practitioners in the world had already begun to improve their strength with the help of the triple path. Now after so many years, there should be some results. Seeing Jian Wushuang inquiring, the Xian Shinto man looked at the people in the space-time hall next to him and laughed. Tianho Xiaoyu, the triple path world is really a treasure. It's amazing. In the past few years, a large number of practitioners in the realm of the gods have entered the triple path world to practice, and all of them have been greatly improved at the level of ruler alone. In the early days of my god world, more than 100,000 rulers have emerged in these thousands of years. Xian Shinto humane. More than 100,000? Jian Wushuang's eyes brightened. Do you want to know how many masters of the rule that the kingdom of God had before it all add up? I'm afraid it's less than 10,000. But now, thousands of years ago, there have been more than 100,000 rulers. This number is indeed a bit scary. Where is the master? In these years, could there be a new master from the triple world in the early world? Jian Wushuang asked again. This is not yet. The mysterious Shinto shook his head. The only master who was born in the world in these early years is Emperor 13, but Emperor 13 is the master who breaks through on his own. After the breakthrough, he went to the triple path. Cultivated. However, although the Miedao realm has not yet cultivated its master, it is possible to stay in the master of the many rules cultivated in the second Dao realm. There are already several people who are about to break through immediately. It is estimated that at most these hundreds of years in time, there should be several successive breakthroughs, and the fastest one among them should be your friend, Shenhua Lord. Shenhua? Jian Wushuang looked. The Shinhua Lord, who has been with him for a long time, is indeed one of his best friends. At the beginning, the Shinhua Lord has reached the most extreme level of the 6 realms of void, and is one of the people closest to his master now. Shinhua will be able to break through, and Jian Wushuang will be happy at the bottom of his heart. Chapter 39:28. Third more. Well, what are the 3 Earth stars in this horoscope? Jian Wushuang asked suddenly. This, Xian Shinto smiled. Tenho Shao, you forgot. You went to visit the ancient night demon in person, and after the visit, the ruler of the emperor ran in person. Come to my star palace to pay for your sins, and soon afterward, news came out saying that you fought against the ancient night demon king, and you defeated the ancient night demon king. You know, before the ancient night demon king, this star domain is recognized as the first strongman. Even the top master Tianping master can't pass a trick in his hands, but you can win the ancient night demon king, and it's just the ruler. As soon as the news comes out, my star house's status in this star field will immediately change. Before, although my star palace was barely considered a big force because of your rise, it was still not the top one, but you did not need my star palace to do anything after the battle with the ancient night demon king. Most of the powerful people in this star field will naturally attribute my star house to one of the top forces, and there is no need to think of any way for my star house. There are countless strong people who come forward and want to join my star house. Of course, my horoscope is also coming. In less than 1,000 years, the ruler of our horoscope has exceeded 10,000 people. What? Jian Wushuang was startled. You know, when he first went to Eternal Dark Prison, the rulers of the Star Palace had all been just over 1,000 people. In less than 1,000 years, it has grown from 1,000 people to over 10,000 people? It's too fast. There are too many rulers, and a single Earth star can no longer satisfy the star house. So in recent years we have spent some money. We have found 2 unmanned Earth stars in this star field. It moved here, and the 3 Earth stars were juxtaposed, so that it has the current palace. Xian Shinto humane. Is that so? Sword unparalleled. I have to admit that the current star palace is indeed much stronger than it used to be. It is a good thing that the Shinggong becomes stronger. The more powerful you are, the more you will have to fight against the Devil Star, and I will have more chances of victory in the world. Jian Wushuang smiled. As soon as Jian Wushuang mentioned Demon Star, the look of Xian Shinto became dignified. Heavenly friend, there is something I must tell you. Xian Shindao stared at Jian Wushuang. What? How dignified? Jian Wushuang asked. It's Demon Star. Mysterious Taoist solemnly said, You know, my star house has been installed in the star field where Demon Star is located, and I've been paying attention to Demon Star's movements. Years ago, there was a message from the eyeliner over there, Lord of the Clouds, out of customs. Wu Jian's eyes narrowed sharply. He knows that the reason why Demon Star hasn't been moving for years is because the Demon Star has been in retreat, and it is still the most important stage of retreat. It's possible that once the Demon Star Master has cleared the level, I am afraid that he should break through to reach the 4th level Master level, and he will definitely act. Jian Wushuang has been preparing for how to deal with the Lord of the Clouds, and he also hopes that the Lord of the Clouds will retreat a little longer and give himself more preparation time so that he can deal with the Lord of the Clouds. The certainty will also be greater. But now, the Lord of the Devil Clouds, have you prepared to leave? Jian Wushuang asked. Not ready to leave, but has already left. Xian Shinto humane. According to the news from the eyeliner over there, Demon Star has already begun to prepare a long time ago. Just 1 year after the Lord of the Demon Stars went out, the Demon Star led his army to leave the star field directly. Most powerful people in that star field did not know the purpose of the Demon Star army, but Demon Star is waiting for me. How long do we have? Jian Wushuang asked. At most 1,000 years. Xian Shinto humane. What? Jian Wushuang was frightened, his eyebrows tightened. How could it be so fast? Wouldn't it take at least tens of thousands of years to get here from Demon Star? Yes, under normal circumstances, it takes tens of thousands of years for a master to be from the star field where Demon Star is located, but the Lord of Demon Star is the second-level astral planet. Lord, the means are extremely good, and he also has a cosmic boat in his hand. Mysterious Shinto man just said this. Spaceship? Jian Wushuang stunned. Before he met the Lord of Mars, he may not know what this spaceship is, but after meeting the Lord of Mars and riding the spacecraft himself, he is no stranger to this spacecraft. Jane is able to shuttle quickly in the cosmic void. Even the lowest cosmic boat, the speed of shuttle in the universe is dozens of times or even hundreds of times faster than the average master. By the cosmic boat instead of hurrying, the arrival time of the Demon Star army must have slowed down significantly. The cosmic boat is very strange. The speed of shuttle in the cosmic void is too fast. At most 1,000 years, the army of the Demon Star must be able to reach the star field, and it will not even take 1,000 years. In this millennium, I have to make all the preparations to meet the battle with the Demon Star. Xian Shinto man solemnly said. Within 1,000 years? Jian Wu's eyes narrowed. The people in the space and time hall next to the Lord of the Time and Space, the Lord of the Heavens and the Emperor 13 were not very good-looking. Within 1,000 years, a war with the Demon Star will erupt. This war is about the life and death of the gods in the early days. Once defeated, they may be able to flee elsewhere in the universe, relying on their own strength, like Jian Wushuang. With his strength and talent, they should also be able to live well in other territories, but in the early days, their hometown was over. In order to enhance his own strength, the Lord of the Demon Clouds will completely crush the pre-god realm. By then, the pre-god realm will collapse and disintegrate in the shortest time. Countless practitioners during this period, except for the top group can outside the universe, no one else can survive. No one can accept this result. Such as Jian Wushuang, his relatives, his wife, and many of his friends are in Taichu God Realm. Taichu God Realm is the hometown of their birth and their roots. For Jian Wushuang, Taichu God Realm is still him. Shizhuan Shuani had to fight to protect the existence. Xian Yi created him after he died, and he began to inherit his master's mantle and became a new perfect life. He had an innate mission. This mission was to regain the primordial deities and shelter the primordial gods. Everything in the world. Therefore, they cannot afford to lose in this war, they must win. Chapter 39-29. Fourth more. Less than 1,000 years, too little time for us to prepare. Jian Wushuangdo. It's not long before we got the triple path. It's only a few thousand years, and we have only just begun to build strong people. If you give us some more time, it won't take long. It only takes tens of thousands of years. There will be countless rulers and a large number of masters in the world. The overall strength will be increased. I do and know how many times. But there is no way. We do and have that much time. Now we can only make the best use of this time. Do everything. Shen Daoshen said. A few of the masters around him also nodded. They can't complain that the magic cloud star came too suddenly and the time is too short. They can only do as much as possible and do more preparations in the past millennium. I came back this time and brought back a group of strong men. Jian Wushuang said suddenly. At the scene, the eyes of several masters immediately looked at Jian Wushuang. A batch of strong men? How many? Xian Shinto asked. Dozens of people. Jian Wushuangdo. Just a few dozen people? Xian Shinto people disapproved. Those who are strong are now in the void outside the Star Palace. You still follow me to see for yourself. Jian Wushuang had already swept away outside the Star Palace. The 6 masters looked at each other, and although confused, they immediately followed. He and his party left the horoscope, and soon came to the void where the cosmic boat stayed. Across the distance, the 6 masters saw the huge spacecraft. What is this? What a big ship, and can stay in the void of the universe? Is this the legendary spacecraft? 26 masters all showed their astonishment, because they knew that the Demon Star army could resist this star field within 1,000 years, because the Demon Star had a cosmic boat in its hands. As for the cosmic boats, they have heard of some. They can shuttle in the cosmic void and naturally stay. The huge boat in front of them is obviously similar to the cosmic boat. It's a space boat, but it's not complete. Those strong men I brought back are waiting on the boat. Jian Wushuang smiled. The 6 masters also saw dozens of figures standing on the cosmic boat. Each of those dozens of figures exudes a terrifying atmosphere, or it is cold like a heaven and earth ice cellar, or it becomes a huge black hole, or it is unruly, or it is like an axe breaking the sky. One figure at a time, each one is enough to frighten people. Perceived the horror breath emanating from the dozens of people on the cosmic boat, the 6 masters, Xian Shinto, the Lord of Time and Space, the Lord of the Heavens, the Emperor Zizing, and Xian Yan, all drank coldly. Qi, the bottom of my heart instantly caused a huge wave. Just now, they didn't take it for granted that Jian Wushuang had brought back a group of strong men, but now, this group of strong men stood in front of them, but made the 6 of them totally frightened. Master, all masters. It's not an ordinary master yet. I can sense that these dozens of people are all ridiculously strong, even stronger than the top masters I've seen before. Too strong. Who are these people? The 6 masters shivered. They had to tremble, so they stood there at the moment, standing in front of the spacecraft, and the dozens of powerful figures on the spacecraft glanced at them from time to time. A glance at them casually made them feel cold inside, as if they had already walked on the edge of death. So horrible. These dozens of figures casually come up with one, their strength is absolutely crushing them. I stand in front of a group of such top powerhouses. Although they are also the masters, they dare not come out. I only have Sword Wushuang, who fell on the cosmic boat indiscriminately. The host. Immediately, the dozens of horrifying figures shook the 6 masters of the mysterious Shinto priests, and they went down together to worship. And they worshipped and shouted, apparently Jian Wushuang. Master? The heads of the 6 Shinto men were a little cyanotic. Let's all get up. Jian Wushuang waved his hand. 41 slaves, including the Lord of Dragons, stood up, but the eyebrows still showed humility and respect. Heavenly friend, what is going on? Xian Shinto came forward, but his eyes still shocked like never before. I have just said that they are the strong ones I brought back from a dangerous place in the universe battlefield. They have been trapped in that dangerous place for a long time before, and I can help them get away, but as a condition, they have to follow me and play for me for 100,000 years. Jian Wushuang smiled. Serve for you? 100,000 years? The mysterious Shinto man took a cool breath, but immediately followed him and asked, what are the strengths of these people? How do I feel that their strength is very arrogant and very terrible? Each of them has the combat power of the 3rd level master, and they are still very strong in the 3rd level master. Of course, it is very scary for you. Jian Wushuang laughed. 3rd level master? Xian Shindao stared at the back of the space and time hall master. The Lord of the Heavens and Heavens were also frightened, even lips were trembling. He was only Emperor 13, but at the moment he was quite puzzled. What is the 3rd order master? It didn't take long for him to break through and become the master, and he had just entered the battlefield of the universe, and he didn't know some of the division of the master. Jian Wushuang smiled and said, Master, divided into many different levels according to the number of rules that are merged. Although you are now the top master, but only the 1st level master, if you integrate another rule, then that is, the 2nd level dominates, and the 3rd level dominates the gate, and the 6 rules must be merged at the same time. In our star field, the 2nd level master can be said to be an invincible power. Just say that ancient Night Demon King, he is only the peak of the 2nd level master. These people behind me, you can easily take out one, and you can easily kill the ancient Night Demon. Any of these people are better than the ancient Night Demon King. Anyone can easily kill the ancient Night Demon King? Even the cold-tempered Emperor 13 was completely shocked at this moment. You know, he has heard the name of the ancient Night Demon King more than once during these years in the universe battlefield. For the most powerful in this star field, the ancient Night Devil is still terrible. But now these people brought back by Jian Wushuang, even one of them is better than the ancient Night Devil. But there are more than 40 people here. Chapter 3930. A batch of rulers, less than 1,000 years. There's too little time for us to prepare, Jian Wushuang said. Yes, it's too little. We've only been in the triple realm for a few thousand years. We've only just begun to create experts. If we have more time, it won't take long. In just tens of thousands of years, countless principles masters will emerge in the divine beginning realm. A large batch of rulers will increase their overall strength by many times. But we can't help it. We don't have that much time. We can only make the best use of the nearly 1,000 years to do everything well, Taoist Xian God said in a deep voice. The surrounding masters also nodded. They could not complain that Devil Cloud Star's arrival was too sudden and too short. They could only do as much as they could and make more preparations in the last 1,000 years. Everyone, I have brought back a group of experts, Jian Wushuang suddenly said. The masters immediately looked at Jian Wushuang. A group of experts? How many are there? Taoist Xian God asked. Dozens of them, Jian Wushuang said. Just dozens? Taoist Xian God did not think much of it. Everyone, those experts are in the void outside Star Palace. You'd better follow me and see for yourself. After saying that, Jian Wushuang rushed out of Star Palace. The 6 rulers looked at each other. Although they were puzzled, they immediately followed him. They left Star Palace and soon arrived at the void space where the universe boat was. From afar, the 6 rulers saw the huge universe boat. What is this? What a huge boat! And it can stay in the universe void space? Is this the legendary universe boat? The 6 rulers were shocked. They knew that the reason why the Devil Cloud Star army could resist this star field within 1,000 years was because Devil Cloud Star Master had a universe boat. They had heard of some universe boats. They could travel through the universe void, so they could stay there. The huge boat in front of them was obviously very similar to the universe boat. It's a universe boat, but it's not complete. The experts I brought back are waiting on the boat, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. The 6 rulers also saw dozens of figures standing on the universe boat. Each of the dozens of figures exuded a terrifying aura. They were cold as ice, turned into huge black holes, were unruly, and looked like axes that could split the heaven and earth. Each of the figures was terrifying. Sensing the terrifying aura emitted by the dozens of people on the universe boat, Taoist Xian God, Temporal Temple Master, Heaven Cleaving Alliance Master, Heaven Ancestor, Dishir San, and Xian Yen, the 6 rulers, all sucked in a breath of cold air, their hearts instantly surged. Just a moment ago, they did not take Jian Wushuang's words seriously about bringing back a group of experts. But now, this group of experts stood in front of them, making them completely terrified. Rulers, they are all rulers. They are not ordinary rulers. I can sense that any one of these dozens of people is ridiculously strong. They are even much stronger than the top rulers I have seen before. They are too strong. Who are these people? The 6 rulers' bodies trembled. They had no choice but to tremble. Therefore, they stood in front of the universe boat. The dozens of powerful figures on the universe boat glanced at them from time to time. Any one of them glanced at them, and they felt a chill in their hearts. It was as if they had been on the verge of death. It was too terrifying. Any one of these dozens of figures was definitely more powerful than them. Standing in front of such a group of top-tier experts, they did not dare to breathe loudly even though they were also rulers. Only Jian Wushuang landed on the universe boat casually. Master! Immediately, dozens of figures, which made Taoist Xian God and the other 6 rulers tremble in fear, bowed and kowtowed in unison. The one they kowtowed and shouted was obviously Jian Wushuang. Master? Taoist Xian God and the other 6 were a little confused. Get up. Jian Wushuang waved his hand, and the 41 servants including Demon Dragon Lord stood up. However, there was still a modest and respectful look on their faces. My young friend, what is going on? Taoist Xian God walked up, but his eyes were still filled with unprecedented shock. I just said that they are experts I brought back from a dangerous place in the universe battlefield. They were trapped in that dangerous place for a long time, and I can help them get out. But as a condition, they have to stay by my side and serve me for 100,000 years. Jian Wushuang smiled. Work for you? For 100,000 years? Taoist Xian God gasped, but then he immediately asked, how strong are these people? Why do I feel that they are very powerful and terrifying? Each of them has the battle strength of a third-level ruler, and they are very powerful among the third-level rulers. Of course, they are very terrifying for you, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. A third-level ruler? Taoist Xian God stared at him. Behind them, the Temporal Temple Master, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master, and the others were also frightened, and their lips were trembling. Only Di Shirsan was puzzled at this moment. What is a third-level ruler? He had just become a ruler not long ago and had just entered the universe battlefield. He did not know about the division of rulers. Jian Wushuang smiled. He said, rulers are divided into many different levels according to the number of principles fused. For example, although you are a superior ruler, you are only a first-level ruler. If you fuse one more principle, you will be a second-level ruler. As for the third-level ruler, you have to fuse 6 principles at the same time. In our star field, a second-level ruler can be said to be an invincible expert. Take Demon Monarch Ancient Knight for example. He is only the most superior ruler of the second level. Any one of these people behind me can easily kill Demon Monarch Ancient Knight. Any one of these people is stronger than Demon Monarch Ancient Knight. Any one of them can easily kill Demon Monarch Ancient Knight? Even the ice-cold Di Shirsan was completely shocked at this moment. In the years he had been in the universe battlefield, he had heard of Demon Monarch Ancient Knight's great name more than once. For most of the experts in this star field, Demon Monarch Ancient Knight was still terrifyingly strong. But now, Jian Wushuang had brought back some people who were stronger than Demon Monarch Ancient Knight. But there were more than 40 people here. Chapter 39-31. The first is more. Our pre-God world was just one side of this star field, and it was just one side that had not been bred for a long time. If we hadn't relied on the relationship between the threefold worlds in the past, I would have produced a lot of strong people in the pre-God world. Otherwise, our overall strength and background are far worse than other astral circles in this star field. There are a lot of rule masters in this star field, and those rule masters who dare to wander through the 3 battlefields all year round are all very good. They are much stronger than the new rules that were born in the early world of God. As for the master, there are also many in this star field. If possible, I intend to recruit as many of these strong men as possible. My star palace has been very low-key in recent years, and its reputation in this star domain is also good. There are no enemies except for the sacred islands supported by the 3 holy places. And now that we have a large number of treasures, we can completely invite them to fight for me in the beginning. Wu Shen Shinto is smiling. Several of us have just discussed. Although this star field has a lot of rulers and a lot of masters, but because it is at the edge of the universe, the number of treasures in this star field is relatively small. After all, the only way for the strong in this star field to get the treasure opportunity is the 3 battlefields. Although there are a lot of treasures and chances in the 3 universe battlefields of Redstone Mountain, Magic Smoke Valley, and Quicksand Demon Realm, they can really get but very few. So, the power of this star field is lacking, especially the high-level treasure. Tianho Xiaoyu, for the first time, you brought back 100,000 pieces of pinnacle treasures from the Red Cloud Realm. This is pinnacle treasure. Under normal circumstances, even the masters will pay great attention to pinnacle treasures, let alone the ruler. We can make a promise, but as long as the Lord of the rules above the Void Realm, as long as he is willing to fight for me in the early world of God, it will not take long for me to give my full strength to the battle with Devil Star after 1,000 years, and I will give them a weight. The highest peak treasure is the reward. As for those who are below the Void Realm, after all, the practitioners of the Void Realm and the Void Realm, we can use the top Arctic as a reward. I believe that when this news spreads, this star field will be a complete sensation. The rulers of countless rules in this star field will be crazy for them. I am afraid that for hundreds of years, there will be countless rulers who will aim for the peak, the top, and the top. Arcana, rush to my horoscope, and with this batch of arcana, In the beginning, the world of the gods could capture a huge army of rules in a short time. Hearing this, Jian Wu's eyes narrowed slightly. He has no doubts about the words of Xian Shinto. In this star field, the number of treasures is too small, and the quality is low. A peak treasure, even the master will pay great attention to it. Among the rule masters, except for a few special ones, or the rules with great backgrounds and opportunities outside the Lord, there are almost no peak treasures. And an ordinary pinnacle is enough to make the rulers of this star field crazy, including those who are extremely powerful in the 6 realms. As for the top emperor, the rulers of those 6 realms of the void will also be stunned. Now, as long as it is above the void realm, it will be given to the top peak treasure, while those in the void realm and the void 4 kingdoms will be given the top arcana. The news spread. I am afraid that few rulers can resist this temptation. This is only the master of the rules. As for dominating this level of combat power, we now have a large number of the strongest treasures, and we can also, at the cost of the strongest treasures, so many of this star domain dominate the power, although this star domain the dominating combat power is not too much, but all of them can be regarded as a not weak force. Coupled with the army of countless rulers in the beginning, the realm of the gods could gather more than 70% of the high-level combat power of this star field. When the magic cloud army kills it, we will have a better grasp of it. It's a lot. Mysterious Shinto again said. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. Compared to this star field, I still have a lot of gods in the beginning. If I can rely on the treasure to integrate all the high-level combat power of this star field, this will be a great deal for me. In the beginning of the deity, it was also a great help. As for these top treasures, they only paid a lot of peak and top treasures. As for the strongest, there is not much to give, and it has no effect on the beginning of my deities. It doesn't matter. Mysterious Shinto laughed. In fact, when you first brought back 100,000 pieces of peak treasures and 100 strongest treasures, I was already thinking about this step, but only then the strongest treasure we have is not too much. If all of them are used as a price to attract the strong, then after the war, the peak of the treasure is flooded, and the strong forces of all parties in the universe have a large number of peak treasures and the strongest treasure. At the beginning, I was on the top of the divine side and was at a disadvantage. Furthermore, www.novel. At that time, the only card I had in the world at the beginning was your strength, but at that time your combat power was not enough to deter the entire star field. I was worried once we act in this way, it will cause the madness of countless large forces in this star field. At that time, I am afraid that they will not only help us to counter the magic cloud star, but even directly take the treasure in our hands. Now, neither of them exists. The mysterious man paused and smiled. You brought us thousands of strongest treasures this time. With these strongest treasures in hand, even if the treasures flood in the future, I still have the gods in this star field. Being in the absolute leading position, as for the other powerful powers. You are now the first recognized power in this star field. Even the ancient Night Demon King is defeated in your hands. Only you are shocked by this person, there is no star field. People dare to mess around. What's more, you have brought back such a large number of strong people now. With them in hand, even if the treasure in our hands is several times but dozens of times, it can be kept. This star field has no one, or forces, dare to hit the idea of my horoscope. Wu Jian smiled. He is not guilty. At the beginning, there was a large number of treasures in the Star Palace, but they had to hide it carefully and not dare to expose it. Sword warriors turned around and looked at the many slaves behind him. Listen, this mysterious beside me is my elder, and I have great grace. When I am away, you all have to obey his orders. Of course, if you have any needs, you can ask him, and he will satisfy you as much as possible, but don't overdo it. In addition, you were all detained by Hong Yun in the first place, and most of them have committed sins, and maybe even some of them are evil and poisonous. I do care about them, but now you are under my hands, you must be honest one thing, who dares to make waves in this star field, then don't blame me for being polite. I already have a lot of slaves in my hands. Even if I kill a few, it doesn't matter. Wu Jian has a cold mang in his eyes. The servants in front of you were trembling inside. Among them, there are indeed many evil-minded people who have committed heinous sins. And they have been detained in the eternal dark prison for a long time, and now they have finally come out of the eternal dark prison. Each of them has gone crazy and has wanted to vent, and some even want to slaughter a lot. It is normal for them to slaughter some ants, but they are very repulsive to them. They are now controlled by Jian Wushuang's life and death, and Jian Wushuang's order is not dare to disobey. After all, although Jian Wushuang swears to the laws of the universe that they will be freed after 100,000 years, the premise is that they must obey Jian Wushuang's order. If they do not obey the order, Jian Wushuang can still kill them at any time. Xian Shen, I'm going to Jyoti Pavilion. If you are in trouble, you can directly send me a message. Jian Wushuangdo. Okay, Xian Shinto nodded slightly. Demon Dragon, follow me. Jian Wushuang said again. The Lord Dragon nodded. Immediately, Jian Wushuang and the Dragon Lord set off directly and headed for Jyoti Pavilion. As for the remaining 40 slaves, they were temporarily housed in the Shinggong by the mysterious Shinto people and lived there. At the same time, a message spreads throughout the star field at the fastest speed. The news was personally conveyed by the Lord of the Single Palace. The main idea is that there are countless precious treasures in the Single Palace. This star field, if the ruler and master of the rule, as long as they are willing to fight for the sacred palace for thousands of years, they will get one. For exchange. Among them, the Lord of the Void 3 realms and 4 realms pays a top prize. The Lord of the 5 realms and 6 realms of Void, the reward is a pinnacle. Dominate the strong, the reward is the strongest treasure. Regardless of how many rulers come, Star Palace guarantees that absolute is sufficient and sufficient. Even if it is 1,000,000 pieces of top-level and peak arcana, Star Palace will pay. The news came out. Instantly, the entire star field was sensational and boiling. He followed closely. After countless powerful people from this star field, after hearing the news, they all rushed towards the Star Palace. For a while, the horoscope was completely the focus of this star field. Chapter 39-33. Third More. 9 Emperor Pavilion is a large trading venue. When Jian Wushuang learned about the Jyoti Pavilion from the main entrance of the Space and Time Palace, he only knew that the Jyoti Pavilion was special. He did not fight for hegemony and did not participate in the competition for treasures. He only did his own business. Even the deepest part of the universe. At that time, Jian Wushuang had a little curiosity about these 9 emperors' pavilions. Then, after conquering the magic flame, and after eternal dark prison, he conquered a large number of slaves. After communicating with them, Jian Wushuang had a new understanding of the 9 emperors' pavilions. Jiu Daij, that is simply a giant. Although he does not fight for hegemony and does not participate in the competition for opportunities and treasures, the Jyoti Pavilion is located in all corners of the universe. Even at the deepest part of the universe, it has a pivotal position. Like the deepest part of the vast universe, there are eternal kingdoms of gods. These kingdoms are developed by the top and supreme, like a red cloud. These kingdoms should be the site of the pioneer, but these gods all have the Jyoti Pavilion, and the number is still quite large. He can spread the 9 emperor pavilions all over the universe and even infiltrate into one large kingdom of gods. The masters of those kingdoms have no opinion yet. The degree of terror of these 9 emperor pavilions can be imagined. The 9 emperors' palace can exist in the vast universe for so long, and the territory involved is so vast. Its strength and details are unimaginable, and the one who founded the 9 emperors' palace in one hand is bound to be a shocking powerhouse. I am afraid that at least it is the supreme invincible, that is, the level of supreme Ling Yun, and it may even be stronger. Jian Wushuang secretly said, 9 Emperor Pavilion is definitely a superlord in the universe, at least much stronger than Hong Yun. Sword Wushuang has no doubt about this. While the star field where he is now, although the edge of the universe, the power of Jiuding Pavilion still infiltrated. In the middle of this star field, a huge and ancient Earth star is hovering there quietly, and Jiudi Pavilion is located on this Earth star. The appearances of Wujian Wushuang and the Dragon Lord appeared in the void outside the Earth. 9 Emperor Pavilion. Jian Wu's eyes calmly looked at the huge Earth star in front of him. Although there is a huge law formation above the ground star, Jian Wushuang can still clearly see the tall building attic in the law formation. The entire Jiudian Pavilion is extremely magnificent, and there are many practitioners on the planet who are walking around. Most of these practitioners are the strong ones who come to trade in the Jiudi Pavilion. Next to Jian Wushuang, the Lord of the Dragons will be more domineering than Jian Wushuang. He glanced at the Jiudi Pavilion in front of him, and the power of the soul swept out unscrupulously. The heavy array on the Jiudi Pavilion failed, blocking the soul exploration of the Lord of Dragons. The Lord of Dragons had already seen the scene in the Pavilion of the 9 Emperors for a moment. There are 3 masters, 2 of whom are only the first series, but there is one who has reached the second series, said the Dragon Lord. Oh! Jian Wushuang frowned. He didn't expect that there was even a second-level master in the 9 Emperors Pavilion. You know, when the strong man in the eternal dark prison has never stepped out, this star field will be dominated by a second-level master on the bright side of the star field. Except for him, no one seems to have reached the second-level master, but it now appears that there is such a person in the Jiudi Pavilion. Let's go in. Jian Wushuang swept directly to the star. After the sword Wushuang appeared in the void outside Jiudi Pavilion, and the power of the soul of the Dragon Lord swept away, the 3 masters in Jiudi Pavilion were immediately noticed. I saw 3 arrogant breaths rising from the Jiudi Pavilion at the same time, and 3 figures also appeared above the Jiudi Pavilion. The appearance of these 3 people instantly caused a commotion in the Jiudi Pavilion. Master, 3 masters? It is the 3 masters of the Jiudi Pavilion. The most central one is the master of the first court of the Jiudi Pavilion, Xin Yun, who is said to have reached the top level of dominance many years ago. The original Yu dominated at the time, but later Yu dominated the star field because of the rise of the ancient Night Devil. Now among the strongest in this star field, in addition to the top of the blood sword apart from the Lord and the ancient Night Demon King, this Xin Yun ruler should be the strongest. What happened? It turned out that the 3 masters of Jiudi Pavilion appeared at the same time, and even Xin Yun's master appeared. An exclamation sounded from below. Many rulers who came to trade in Jiudi Pavilion raised their heads in amazement one by one, looking at the 3 masters above. He followed closely, but the 3 masters, under their gaze, swept directly to the void ahead, where 2 figures came slowly. Obviously, the reason for the appearance of the 3 patrons was because of the arrival of the 2. But who are those 2 people who actually attracted the 3 masters of Jiudi Pavilion to appear at the same time? The Lord of the Blood Sword is here. My Jiudi Pavilion is full of glory. The gigantic laughter emanated from the mouth dominated by Xin Yun. Hearing this laughter, the rulers below were immediately clear. Who am I? Turns out to be the Lord of the Blood Sword. Well, as Shen Yun dominates, now in this star domain, I am afraid that only the Lord of the Blood Sword and the ancient Night Demon King are qualified to meet him in person. The Lord of the Blood Sword? That's the Lord of the Blood Sword? Look at the breath, which is also the rule of the general rule. The general ruler? The joke is also the ruler. The main sword of this blood sword kills me and waits. It's almost like killing an ant. Don't say I wait. Even if it is the general master, the main sword of blood sword is afraid. You can easily kill him. You must know that he defeated the ancient Night Demon King. How good is the ancient Night Demon King? Who is the one-horned old man next to the Lord of the Blood Sword? I don't know, but it seems to be a very powerful person. The rulers of the rules below all talked about. For the ruler of these rules, the general masters are high above them, and the appearance of masters like Xin Yun is enough to excite and even tremble them. Chapter 39-34. Fourth More. On the void of Jiudian Pavilion, Jian Wushuang and the Lord of the Dragons stood there. In front of them were the three masters of Judian Pavilion. The eyes of these three patrons at this moment are not on Jian Wushuang's body, but on the Dragon Lord. This person? Shen Yun dominated and looked at the Lord Dragon with a frown. He does not know the Lord of Dragons and has never heard of such a strong man. Although the Lord of Dragons is standing behind Jian Wushuang at this moment, it gives a huge amount of oppression in his body. This oppression is strong, makes Shen Yun dominated secretly. At this time, the eyes of the Demon Dragon Lord also just swept over. It was just a simple sweep. Shen Yun's master only felt a twitch of his body and mind. So terrible strong, I feel not weaker than that ancient night devil, and maybe even stronger. Shen Yun is the master of the first pavilion of Jade Pavilion. When the ancient night demon king rose, he also dealt with the latter. However, the background of the Nine Emperor Palace is too large. It is said that the power of Xian can oppress many large forces in this star field, but it is not afraid to provoke the Jade Pavilion alone. Suddenly, Shen Yun dominated and found that the one-cornered old man standing in front of him at the moment gave him a stronger feeling than the ancient night demon. But the one-corner old man stood on the side of Jian Wushuang and was a little behind. The Lord of the Blood Sword, I wonder if this one around you is? Shen Yun asked him. He is just one of my servants, Shen Yun do not care. Jian Wushuang smiled. Servant? Lord Shen Yun glanced at the other two cabinet masters next to him, but his heart was even more frightened. Dominated by Shen Yun, I came to Jade Pavilion this time to do business. Jian Wushuangdo. Let the Lord of the Blood Sword come in person is bound to be a big business. I also invite the Lord of the Blood Sword to follow me to the cabinet, and we will discuss it slowly. Shen Yun dominated the invitation. Jian Wushuang nodded. Immediately, Jian Wushuang and the Dragon Lord, led by Shen Yun, ran towards the central loft of the Jade Pavilion. In the lofty loft, Jian Wushuang sat at a round table, and the Lord of the Dragons stood respectfully behind him. In front of him, the three lords of the Jade Pavilion also sat there. I don't know what treasure you need to exchange for the Lord of the Blood Sword? Lord Shen Yun asked directly. Spar, all kinds of special spar, but it must be high level. Jian Wushuangdo. He wants special spar, which is naturally prepared for demon flame. Although in the eternal dark prison he beheaded many masters, conquered many strong ones, and obtained a large number of special spar, but these special spar, in addition to the Jin Song that was originally obtained from the 1,000-killed monarch outside of the boundary stone, most of the other spar levels are more general. Even if all of them are added up, it is not enough for the magic flame to restore the gold-swallowing body. Therefore, Jian Wushuang needs more spar, and they are all high level. This is easy to handle. I have a list of special spar in my 9 Emperors Pavilion. You can see the Lord of the Blood Sword. Shen Yun's master directly passed the list to Jian Wushuang. After Wu Jianshou took it, he browsed with the magic flame. After a few moments, the list is finished. No, the level is too low. The sound of the magic flame sounded in Jian Shuangshuang's heart. The spar on this list is very general, and the quality is lower than those of the master you get in the eternal dark prison. I've been on a few, and I've recovered a lot of gold swallows now. I'm going to continue to recover. This kind of ordinary spar won't be of much use even if swallowed. Only the higher level spar can make it. My gold-swallowing body continues to recover. I want to know what are the highest level spar you can send to this star field in a short time. Jian Wushuang asked. End of this chapter. Chapter 39-35. Fifth more. This, I have to communicate with the masters of some nearby star domains, so that I can get accurate information. Shen Yun dominated for a while and said, let us just ask the two to wait a moment here. I will immediately get in touch with the cabinet owners of those stars. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded, without urging. Shen Yun dominated immediately and was presented with wine and food for Jian Wushuang to enjoy. After a long while, Shen Yun had the exact answer. Master of the Blood Sword, this list is just sorted out by me, and can be sent to this star field in the shortest time. The special spar level on the list is much higher than the previous list. See if you are satisfied. Shen Yun dominated and resent a list to Jian Wu double-sided. After Wu Jianshou took it, his consciousness swept away and he nodded slightly. It is true that the special spar on this list is much higher than the previous level. Magic Flame, what do you think? Jian Wushuang communicated with Mo Yen internally. Not bad. The Magic Flame also said, although there are only dozens of crystals on this list, the levels are not low, and the highest level of them has the greatest two kinds of help to restore my body. One is the ice crystal. The other is the golden fire magic stone. Although the two crystals are still inferior to the golden Sangjie stone, they are also very good, especially the golden fire magic stone. If there is a certain amount, in a short time, you can restore 10% to 20% of the deities. I got a reply from Demon Flame, and Jian Wushuang immediately looked up. Shen Yun is dominated. Of these spar, I need 2 ice crystals and gold fire demon, but I don't know how much these 2 spar are worth. Bing Yuan Jing, the golden fire demon? Shen Yun dominated his brows and laughed. The Lord of the Blood Sword, you have a good eye. On this list I gave you recently, these 2 kinds of spar have the highest level. Especially the golden fire magic stone, that is extremely rare in the edge of the universe. Of course, the higher the level, the higher the value naturally, not to mention that both types of spar need to be sent from other star domains, and the cost is even greater. Shen Yun's dominance only said that the cost was greater, but did not say the specific value of these 2 kinds of spar. Jian Wushuang said directly, I not only need to send these 2 kinds of spar from other star fields, but I also have a requirement that the speed must be fast. Within 500 years, I must send to this star field. And give it to me. What? Within 500 years? Shen Yun dominated his eyes. Why, you can't do it? Jian Wushuang glanced at Shen Yun. I can do it. I have 9 Emperor Pavilions in all corners of the universe, and have been connected with each star domain, and there are special space channels between each other. If you use space channels, let alone 500 years, even 5 it will not be a problem to send it to you in 10 years. But the key is the cosmic channel. It is no more than a space channel in the astral space. It is extremely difficult to open any cosmic channel. The cost is even greater. This is just a creation, and each time it is transmitted in cosmic space, the same it takes a huge price, as is the case with short-distance cosmic space channel transmissions, and the cost is even more outrageous if it spans star fields. Shen Yun's master frowned. I know the cost is huge, and I have already prepared mentally. You don't need to talk nonsense to me, let's just say, how much it will cost to send these 2 kinds of spar to me in 500 years. Jian Wushuang said lowly. Shen Yun dominated for a moment, and then stretched out a finger, saying, a gold fire magic stone requires 1 universe source stone. Wu Jian's eyes narrowed sharply. The lion opens his mouth. The dragon lord next to him whispered coldly, and a little bit of evil swept out of him. When Sun felt this evil spirit, Shen Yun was dominated and the other 2 patrons of Jyoti Pavilion were taken aback. Qi Jian Wushuang waved his hand to signal the dragon lord to converge his breath. Is the source stone of the universe? Swordless eyes narrowed. Universe source stone, this is a special unit used for trading in the vast universe. In the vast universe, there are 2 kinds of currency for trading. One is the cosmic crystal, which is also the earliest cosmic currency that Jian Wushuang contacted. At the time he got the Blood North Heritage, he got some cosmic crystals. At that time he didn't know the purpose of this cosmic crystal was later discovered in the cosmic battlefield. However, the universe crystal is only the most basic trading currency, and it is mostly used by the ruler and some weaker masters. And the masters who reach a certain level of strength, they use all the source rocks of the universe. In the universe, it is also currency. The ratio of the source stone to the universe crystal is 1 to 100 million. In other words, only 100 million cosmic crystals can be exchanged for 1 cosmic source stone. But in this star field, even those masters who have been roaming in the universe battlefield all year round and have the rules of the treasure, their total net worth is probably hundreds of universe crystals. Even if it is a first-level master, the total net worth is probably only about hundreds of thousands of universe crystals. If there is the strongest treasure in hand, the net worth may be more, but not too much. One cosmic source stone, equivalent to 100 million cosmic crystals. This is definitely an astronomical number for most first-order masters. Because on the market, the value of a strongest treasure may be between 100 and 2 million cosmic crystals. One cosmic source stones are equivalent to dozens or even hundreds of strongest treasures. This is not to blame the demon dragon lord said that Shin Yun dominated the lion's mouth, because under normal circumstances, a gold fire demon stone does not need one universe source stone at all, at most 0. One universe source stone is sufficient. The Lord of the Blood Sword, I know that the price is relatively expensive, but there is no way. Your requirements are too high. You must send it to this star field within 500 years. For 500 years, you can only rely on cosmic space. Channel. Shen Yun dominated solemnly. What about Bing Yuanjing? Jian Wushuang asked again. The value of the ice crystal is slightly lower than that of the gold fire magic stone, but if it is delivered within 500 years, it will also require a 0.9 source stone of the universe. Shen Yun dominated. Wu Jianso silent. In the bottom of his heart, he was asking Moyan, if your gold-swallowing body is to recover 20%, how many gold fire magic stones or ice yuan crystals do you need? If all of them are gold fire magic stones, 100 pieces are almost enough. If all of them are ice crystals, I'm afraid about 120 pieces are needed. Moyan replied. 100 gold fire magic stones, which means 100 universe source stones. Jian Wushuang's eyes narrowed. Chapter 39-36. Sixth more. Universe Source Stone, Swords Unique. That was obtained when he was slaying and conquering many powerful men in the Eternal Dark Prison. You know, most of the Eternal Dark Prisons are from the depths of the universe, and hundreds of Chaos-era killings can survive. Every family is extraordinary. There are some cosmic source stones or cosmic crystals in their hands. These all add up, and now I have about 20 cosmic source stones on hand. But the 20 cosmic source stones are obviously not enough to buy the golden fire demon stone and Bing Yuanjing. Shen Yun dominates. This gold fire magic stone and Bing Yuanjing, I want a little more. Jian Wushuang suddenly said. Oh. Dominant Shen Yun immediately looked at Xiang Jianshuang. If it is pure gold fire magic stone, I need 100. As for Bing Yuanjing, I need 120. Jian Wushuang said directly. This. The master Shen Yun and the other two patrons heard it, all a little dazed. They know how expensive Shen Yun's price has just been. One cosmic source stone, a gold fire magic stone, hundreds, that would be 100 cosmic source stones. In the universe, even if it is the master of the 4th or 5th series, all the net worth may not have 100 source rocks of the universe. The Lord of the Blood Sword can take it? Although the suspicion is extremely deep, Shen Yun's master still said, the Lord of the Blood Sword, although I gave you this list, it does not mean that there are many spar on this list, especially the Golden Fire Demon. Stone and Bing Yuanjing have the highest levels. I have communicated with and calculated the statistics of many cabinets in the surrounding area. All the star fields around here only have more than 30 gold fire magic stones. As for the number of ice crystals, there are more, but they are not even 60. Even if I give it all to you, it won't meet your requirements. So, I can do everything possible to send you 30 gold fire magic stones and 50 ice yuan crystals in 500 years. Of course, if it is a slightly lesser crystal, such as the blood dragon crystal, there are quite a few star fields around here. I can get you 200 or 300. It is not a problem. What do you think? Blood dragon crystal? Jian Wushuang frowned. It's okay. The sound of the demon flame rang in Jian Wushuang's heart. Although the level of the blood dragon crystal is not as high as that of the gold fire magic stone and ice yuan crystal, The 300 blood dragon crystals together are comparable. 30 or 40 gold fire magic stones, and all of them are enough. Jian Wushuang nodded. Just 30 gold fire magic stones, 50 ice yuan crystals, 300 blood dragon crystals. Okay. Shen Yun dominated the dignified look. You thought that you only need 1 or 2 gold and fire magic stones for the Lord of the Blood Sword, so the value will naturally be a lot higher, but now the Lord of the Blood Sword is a one-time one. If you need so many crystals are already in the same star field. You can get a lot of crystals in one cosmic channel transmission, so it can save a lot of cost, so I can give you the Lord of the Blood Sword in terms of price. Lower some. Let us do that. 30 gold fire magic stones and 50 ice yuan crystals are added together. I'll give you 50 cosmic source stones. As for 300 blood dragon crystals, it's all 30 cosmic source stones. 80 cosmic source stone, Lord of the Blood Sword. If you agree, I will definitely send these things to the Star Palace within 500 years. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. 80 cosmic source stone, although it is still a huge number, but what Shen Yun dominated before, it is indeed a lot of discount. The Lord of the Blood Sword, I don't know the 80 cosmic source stones. How did you pay for it? Shen Yun dominated it. I have a lot of treasures in your hand, let's see how much it is. Sword Wushuang waved his hand and took out a ring of heaven and earth. In this ring of prey, there are a lot of resources and treasures that he got from the strong men who were killed by him after he killed in the eternal dark prison. Many of the resources and treasures here are extremely precious, which are not found in this star field, and the value is naturally extraordinary. After taking control of Qian Kuan, the Master Shen Yun began to investigate carefully. When he saw the numerous and precious treasures in Qian Kuan Ring, Shen Yun's heart shook immediately. Good guy Bafeng Mein Vine Feng Hu Xian Chao, Lei Sha Shuedan. Shen Yun dominated and called out dozens of treasure names. These treasures are hardly found not only in our star field, but even in the nearby star fields. You, the Lord of the Blood Sword, took out so many things at once, and most of the other treasures are also very precious. The levels are also very high, most of them are difficult to find in our star field. Oh, terrific, terrific. Shen Yun dominated, constantly admiring. Of course, he admired the Sword Wushuang's handwriting. Wu Mingming is just a ruler. The treasures that can be taken out are enough to marvel at most of the masters on the edge of the universe. Dominated by Shen Yun, tell me directly how much these treasures are worth. Jian Wushuang said indifferently. The master of Shen Yun made a simple estimation and quickly replied, the Lord of the Blood Sword, most of the treasures in this ring are extremely precious and rare, and there are several types of values that are even more amazing. All of them can be added together. Are you the source stone of the universe, the source stone of the universe? Jian Wu's eyes narrowed slightly. 30 cosmic source rocks, plus 20 cosmic source rocks already on him, are only 50 cosmic source rocks. I've got some treasures here, look at them again. Jian Wushuang took out another Qian Kuan ring. Shen Yun took over immediately. After investigation, he found that there were only dozens of treasures in the Qian Kuan ring, but the breadth of those dozens of treasures was extremely amazing, and they were all the strongest treasures. And not the ordinary strongest treasure. The strongest treasures in the highest level, dozens of them? Dominant Shen Yun widened his eyes, calmed down immediately and smiled. Master of the Blood Sword, these dozens of treasures, I still give you 20 universes. The price of the source stone. Jian Wushuang's eyebrows finally frowned, and he murmured, these strongest treasures are all in the highest level, and each one is very amazing. It should be easy to exchange 1 or 2 million cosmic crystals, and among them there are arcana warframes, realms, and repression arcanas, all of which add up to more than 20 cosmic source stones? Master of the Blood Sword, you don't know about it. Shen Yun dominated with a smile. In a word, things are rare and expensive. If you only take 1 or 2 pieces of the best treasure of the highest level, the price is naturally different, but you can take out dozens of them at once, and I also get news. There are a large number of arcanas in the Star Palace, even the strongest arcana, which is obviously related to the Lord of the Bloodsword. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.